beautiful freaks out there. I am Elle Snow, hosting another episode of Frequels. And...
Hey guys, guess who's back?
Oh my god, EJ! I'm so happy to see you. She's been beating me so badly.
You keep your mouth shut.
Hello, you beautiful freaks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Frequels. This is the last of Happy Valentine's Day month, and this episode, we are going all out. I'm your host,
hard.
EJ Leeson, and with me, the hardest man I know, Rory Colorasi. How are you, sir?
I wasn't hard until you walked through the door.
Oh, get out of town.
If
You're the best.
if that came out weird, it's because it was supposed to.
Good.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm so happy to see you back.
I'm happy to be back. It's so good to be back. It's great to see your face again.
I know. It was weird. I was like crying myself to sleep for a little while there.
I haven't seen you in a
missed you
hot
so
minute.
much. I know.
I know. It was scary.
I was like really unsettled by not having you
I know. Near
around
me.
me. Yeah.
I know.
How you feel?
I feel great. I feel really good. I still have like a little bit of a cough. Not a surprise. But yeah, no, I feel good. I feel really good.
You sound great.
Let's get into our special guests. We have two awesome special guests. First off, she comes in and is like the best person in the world because last minute she had to fill in because I got really sick due to rabies. And
We dumped you in front of a hospital. And,
yeah. You guys just left me for dead, but I'm back, and thanks for her to like step in and fill out the episodes. The most incredible person in the world, Elle Snow.
You'll never fucking get rid of me.
I'm here now, forever. That's cool.
Hey, this whole month it has snowed.
Yeah.
All 4 episodes of
How
February.
awesome is that?
Of
Yeah.
Valentine's Day month.
I know.
It's been a Jon Snow, an Elle Snow, a Jon Snow and an Elle Snow.
Yeah.
And now an Elle Snow.
Yeah.
I know. How awesome is that?
That's crazy.
Enjoy your snow day.
Yeah. It's a lot of snow. And a very, very special guest. You may know her from Shequels, one of the hardest workers I've ever met. She's incredible, talented, awesome. Ms. Meggie Roche.
Mrs. technically.
Mrs. Oh, yeah. True. Oh,
Hello,
damn.
I'm
Hello.
also here.
How's it going, buddy?
I also came down with rabies last week, so
Oh.
I know how you're feeling, but
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot better, so I'm very, very happy to be here.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Was it weird when he said to Elle, the best person I know, and then he went to you?
Yeah, no, I clocked that. I definitely clocked that.
Yeah.
Also, I feel a little offended that we have only 2 of the 3 Shequels here.
I know.
I think that's
know.
an injustice that needs to be rectified.
Well, let me tell you guys something. I've got a special guest. No?
No.
Oh,
no.
shit.
No.
No.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
We had a whole thing.
We had a.
Worked out.
Yeah.
I forgot to give her a day and a time.
Rory, you skank.
I know.
Is she out hunting down Adrian?
She is.
Yeah.
Only his
'Cause-
blood will cure
Well,
you.
here's
Yeah.
the thing is he died, but he's still out there. And so we gotta find him and put him down because he's still running around.
Yeah.
See, that was the problem with burying him in the pet cemetery.
Yeah, that was
Sometimes.
probably-
Dead is better.
Sometimes.
That
It
is
is
better.
better.
Lois.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I was really out of it. I think I made Vince upset because I burst through his drywall like the Kool-Aid man.
We were like, "Ah!"
I was like, "Ah!" He's like, get out of here. I went, oh, yeah.
I heard that it was on his drywalling podcast.
Yeah.
He detailed it.
It
Made
was
you look
crazy.
real bad.
I know. I was like, I'm sorry, Vince.
Yeah. Although, I guess it was a very popular episode, though.
Yeah.
People like the drama, because normally it's just him doing drywall for hours.
You just hear
Just
icky
sounds
sounds.
of spackle.
Yeah. Just like... And then you hear...
Joint compound. And
Yeah.
then-
Periodically, you just hear Vince go, Now that's a drywall.
Now that's a drywall.
That's like his catchphrase, isn't it?
Yeah.
He always used to say that.
Now
on the
that's
show.
a drywall.
Now that's a drywall.
Mwah. He does the chef's
And if
kiss.
anybody knows when something's dry, it's Vince.
Oh, yes, he does. But yeah, no.
R.I.P. Vince.
R.I.P. No, I got to do a play, and it literally, someone must have come to one of the shows sick, because at least 5 of us afterwards were knocked out, like 5 other actors besides me.
I call that the diva lung.
Yeah, we all.
Every time I do a show at the Diva, I get sick after.
Yeah, I was out, like I literally out for like 2 days. I was so sick.
I didn't talk about it when we had Justin.
Oh
on,
yeah, right.
Now 2 weeks ago, and I didn't talk about you, right? Because I wanted you to be here when I did it. But
good.
EJ was in the play, and you were wonderful.
Oh, thanks, man. I had a good time.
I'm not going to undercut that with a joke.
You son of a bitch.
Let it
I was
sit.
ready. I was
Let
like,
it sit. No, you were. I loved it.
The first time he walked out on stage, it was one of the scenes 2 scenes he was in. He walks over to the corner and sits in a chair before like everybody's out on stage, and me and Carmen booed. We were like, boo!
and I was like, yes, this is my crowd.
I asked you this on the last episode. Not the last episode. One of the episodes when we talked about you doing a play.
Yeah.
Did you hear my stupid laugh?
Yes.
Okay.
So at one point in the first one act that I come out, I have like 2 lines, and then I go to the back, and then I have one more line where I'm like a karaoke announcer.
Yeah.
And I just have one line. It's like, here's Wonderwall, and I heard you laugh so hard at that. And I was like,
I'm very simple.
yeah, I was like, okay, Rory's here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It was a great jump scare, though. It was because it's, the scene is just happening, and then from all of a sudden, from backstage, you were you projected really well, but it was so loud, but you were nowhere on stage, and everybody could hear you so clearly. Just here's Wonderwall. We were all like, oh my god, it's EJ.
yeah,
Because the scene was, it took place in like a karaoke bar, supposedly.
right.
And once you said Wonderwall, I was like, yep, it's authentic.
That's real. It makes it real now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was written by a friend of the show, Marcy, wrote that one. And
Wonderwall?
Wonderwall, yeah.
Oh my god.
Her royalties, whew, man, she's
Maybe I can borrow some of that Wonderwall money from her.
yeah.
Did you ever hear Vince's Wonder Drywall?
I literally,
We just synced up.
Yeah,
we
we
went
just-
for the same joke.
yeah, we were like, here it is.
Like dogs for a piece of meat. That's what that
yeah.
joke was. We went for it.
But no, it was a lot of fun. And then the second one, when I auditioned, I specifically was like, can I read for the Uber driver in this scene? Because I don't know, I thought it was like a funny, weird character, and so I was like, I think I could add like some weird nuances to that, and
It was awesome.
whatever. Yeah, it was fun.
He was definitely channeling Bill and Ted for that.
I nudged Becca and said that. I'm like, it's like he's going for like a Wayne Campbell, because you were doing like the pushing the hair behind the ears thing.
Yeah. I definitely, so it was like an acclamation of like a couple different things. So it was definitely Wayne Campbell. When, the girl says, ooh, I like Duncan, I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
So I definitely did
You
Wayne
can't see him
Campbell.
at home right now, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
doing a perfect Wayne
Wayne
Campbell
Campbell.
from the hit movie Wayne's World.
And then a lot of my body movements were definitely Keanu Reeves, Ted, from Bill and Ted. And then the voice actually was Will Forte. Sure, no problem. So I just was like doing a Will Forte voice, and it was fun.
Yep.
I really liked your outfit for that scene too. That was fun.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Your TLC T-shirt.
yeah.
Yeah, like I remember you came to record the one time we were doing rehearsals, and you walked in here looking like Rip Torn.
Yeah. You're like, what's going on here? I'm like, it's just part of the show.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you throw on those colorful shirts, and I expect that from you.
Yeah,
I like them.
I know.
So
I'm normally a pretty muted person, so
muted colors.
yeah.
A real drag to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Exactly.
know if people at home know that about each other.
I just suck the life out of places.
Yeah, whenever anyone's having a good time, he walks in. He's like, guys, Can we just stop?
Can we tone it down a little bit?
I got some Edgar Allan Poe I'd like to read. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Get this guy
Why
out
don't
of
we
here.
invite him?
Why is this guy still friends with us?
No, I remember the one time we went to that funeral together, and you're like, now that's a party.
Yeah, no. Let's turn it up. And I just ripped off my tracksuit. It was
It was muted colors underneath.
yeah. But yeah, no, it was a good time. The play, I had a lot of fun. The only downside was getting sick after.
Rabies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Adrian. Longhorn.
The first.
The first.
The first.
Yeah. Fucking asshole.
Yeah. You know, the second's
That
not so
guy.
bad.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
No, is that his son? Or was it like a brother? They
Buddy,
just
I
named
don't
him...
have time to study people's family trees, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
There's like Adrian Longhorn 1, Adrian Longhorn 2, and last but not least, his youngest brother, Adrian Longhorn 3.
Are you ready to have your mind blown?
Yeah.
There's 8 of them.
There's 8?
There's 8 of them.
8?
And weirdly enough, the 8th one is the worst Adrian.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing remarkable about him.
He's the 8th one. Why would there be?
I know. I guess all the talent and joy just got sucked up in the other 7.
Yeah.
The 7th is a serial killer, but hey,
Hey.
did you see any new movies?
Oh, yeah. So, let's go into new movies. Meggie, do you want to start us off? Any new movies that you've checked out lately?
I have not been able to get out and see any new movies, but I have been going back and watching some TV series that I skipped or missed when they were like actually relevant. So all of my like viewpoints right now are like at least 5 years out of date. So
Here's
like,
some hot takes.
so The Walking Dead. No, but really I did I didn't really get into The Walking Dead when it first premiered. I was like dipping my toes into horror at the time. I wasn't really into it yet, so it was a little intense for me when it started out, and I was like, I'll come back to it. And then there was a lot of hype, and I was like, I felt like I was walking into a party that was like almost over. So I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till it cools down, and then I'll check it out. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been sort of binge watching that. And
Where are you at? Season-wise.
Season 10.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay.
getting to the end of season 10, so I'm almost done.
Is that the season where they find a new place to start over, and then somebody invades, and then it collapses, and they have to find a new place
Oh
to go?
yeah, because see the thing is they didn't learn anything from the last time that happened.
Yeah.
So they have no new security protocols to take care of problems that they learned about last season.
Yeah.
And then it happens again.
They've had a few communities.
It's wild.
just
You
fall.
don't see it coming. It happens again, exactly the same way it happened before.
I actually hate
But-
when that happens.
I know.
These people obviously don't.
Right.
We actually had a bit of a Walking Dead thing going on when you had rabies.
Oh, really?
You infected everybody, so we were
Yeah.
actually having to hide out in Free Jacks and shoot people.
Oh.
Some of the ones I got didn't even have rabies. But anyway, yeah, Walking Dead. That show, I finished it, but it was more like an obligation towards the end. I'm like, well, I've come this far. See where this journey goes. And then I got there, the end of the journey, and I was like, oh,
My, what a long way we came
long.
for such a small payout.
See,
Yeah.
I just very much enjoy Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Me too.
So
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
have only watched episodes that have him in it. I haven't watched the whole show. I
He
just
lights
skipped
it
to
up.
some certain episodes.
He is like hypnotic to watch, that guy. When that episode when he, I don't want to ruin this for anybody, but he may or may not kill 2 characters out in a clearing or something. But he's just so much fun to watch. I was nervous that they were going to kill him at different points because I just want him to stay around.
No, I really enjoyed his arc. Right now, he's kind of what got me through a lot of season 10 because it felt very repetitive, like just like a new twist on a villain that they've had before and things like that. And his in-character choices that like felt very natural.
Sure.
But also were a little out of the box. It was like, oh, this is like a real person that's actually like thinking and growing and learning, which is wild on that show. So he was really the highlight of season 10 for me.
How about you? What'd you watch?
I have not seen any new movies, but I did finish the season finale of Campaign 3 of Critical Role, which was 8 hours and 37 minutes.
Holy. That's
Wow.
like a whole
God
season
damn.
of a TV show.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
But, Rory, did you see any new movies?
Oh, I've seen quite a few. I'm gonna bore the fuck out of you.
Do you like movies, Rory?
I watch a few
Rory,
here and there.
you watch those things?
I don't know. I'm trying them out. I'm dipping my toes in the pool.
Those
Water
motion
feels,
pictures?
Water feels good.
You like those
I
pictures?
might dive in. So I watched some movies, guys. It's
Yeah.
been a
Yeah.
busy week in the movie theater. I watched Heretic. Did you see that? No, you saw it.
Yeah. That
That
was...
movie kind of rocks.
Yeah, it rocks. It's really good.
Hugh Grant is like so much fun in that movie.
Yeah, I love the two girls though too.
Yeah,
Like,
they're fantastic.
phenomenal. The new, like the one girl, Sophie Thatcher. Mm-hmm.
She's the one that's in Compliance, right?
The companion.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh well. I
Did
didn't
you
it
see that yet?
No. That's
Oh,
why I don't know the title.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well,
I don't know.
We'll talk about it in a second.
I'm
but
probably gonna see that this weekend.
yes.
that's
make
on the
that
agenda.
yeah.
I've heard good things. I watched. Did you see September 5th yet, or September 5, as it says on the poster?
No.
You didn't
What's
see
that?
it? Oh, you think I'm making a joke?
No, I know. What is
It's a real
September 5th?
movie. I promise. I'm not setting up a bit.
Okay.
Would you like me to?
Yeah.
Oh. I
No.
don't
What
know.
is what is September? 5th?
September 5. You know that story about the terrorists who? You think I'm making a joke?
This better not be.
It's
okay.
not. I
Okay,
promise.
go ahead.
Look
All right.
it up. It's in your theaters.
September 5th.
September
Okay.
5th. Do you remember that? Did you see the movie Munich? Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
promise you this is not a bit.
Yeah,
promise
no,
you.
I know.
All right. Movie Munich. You've seen Munich?
Yes.
You know the beginning of the movie when they had the terrorists that
the
kidnapped
Olympics?
all the athletes at the Olympics out in Germany?
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So this is essentially that story, but from the viewpoint of CBS trying to cover it.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
awesome. Like,
Okay.
it is such a great movie. I know the script is currently nominated, and I get it. Because it's just like a couple locations, but it's so exciting.
Is that like a documentary or no? It was not. Oh, okay.
No.
This is okay.
No, it's just look it up. You would really love it. It's really, really, really solid. But check that out. Did you see
Yeah.
A Different Man with Sebastian Stan?
Oh no, I want to. I really
What is that
want
one
to. That's
about?
on my
Because I am a
list.
big Sebastian Stan.
Are you? Yeah,
Stan.
he's actually climbing.
fan.
He's climbing my list of favorite like modern actors. Mm-hmm. So like he has his face has like a ton of deformities. It's like a genetic thing. So this I don't want to say too much about it, but he basically undergoes this surgery where he suddenly looks like beautiful Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
But without
I like the premise already.
Yeah.
Just there it is, beautiful face.
Without saying too much about the movie, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, the way he was living his life, was it because of his attitude or his deformities? Like, can you get beyond those kind of things and actually have a pretty solid life, or is it just your viewpoint? Because there's another character that pops up in it.
Adam
The
Pearson.
director, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just so much fun. Like, he's just like a great character, and everybody wants to be around him, and they're not off-put by anything with his face, because it's just like your personality is so beautiful that everybody just wants to be around him.
Yeah.
So Sebastian Stan loses that, and then suddenly it's like you lost some part of yourself, and it's kind of like this guy is like holding up a mirror to him and just being like, no, like, it wasn't your face, you're just shitty. And it just like drives him crazy, and it's so good. And Sebastian Stan, big surprise, is fantastic in it.
Yeah.
But it's like it's really, really worth a watch. I watched Maria. Did you see Maria?
No.
With Angelina Jolie.
Oh no.
It's basically about like an aging opera singer. It's like the last week of her life,
Oh okay.
and she is so fucking good that I'm so surprised she wasn't nominated for something.
Yeah.
Like, she just watch it. It was like nominated for cinematography, and it's a gorgeous looking movie. But I was so perplexed by the fact that she didn't no one talked about her.
Yeah, I was
she's-
gonna say
she
like this is the
kicks
first
so
time
much.
I've heard of it.
Yeah?
Which is crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's worth your time. Like it's
Yeah.
a really really cool movie. Because it's just basically like her. She had like this giant career being like this like opera star. She's like a real person. And then like she gets to a point where it's like she can't sing the same way anymore, and it's like she doesn't know how to be anything other than that, and so she's trying to get back to it, but she just somewhere inside of her knows that it's, you know, it's gone. It's not going to be the same anymore.
Yeah.
And it's depressing as fuck, but she's wonderful in it. I'm Still Here. Anyone check that out?
I'm
No.
still here. What is that?
It's a foreign film.
It's a song by John Resnick.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah.
It's also, I think, a Joaquin Phoenix movie with the same title.
That's what
which
I was
is-
just thinking.
yeah.
Okay, I was like, wait, I have seen that where he goes on like Devin Letterman and he was like trying to be a rapper, Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the same movie. Oh, yeah. I think that is the movie.
Okay.
No, it's not. I don't know.
no, I don't
We'll
know.
get back to that.
Yeah.
No, but I'm Still Here. It's a film from
It is or not, possibly. Have I gone over all the options?
whatever the correct answer is.
In its
That's
state
what
of
I'm leaning
being
into.
or not being.
All right, now we got that
We
covered.
got it. It's a movie from Brazil, and takes place in the early 70s. It's a real life story about this family whose father is basically taken out of the house because of a fascist dictatorship out there in Brazil.
Oh.
Did you hear about this movie at all?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard about this.
Yeah,
either.
it's another one of those movies. It's like misery porn.
Yeah.
It's just so sad. But it's like a movie. I think it's maybe about 20 minutes or so too long. But because it's weird. It's like in the midsection, like I know where all the little pieces are that maybe could have been cut. And if they were, the third act I think would have more of a punch. The punch I think they were intending. But it gets to a point where you're like, is this fucking Return of the King with these endings? 'Cause it just keeps
Just
going and
keeps
going.
going.
Even though that's not a slight against fucking Return of the King. That movie's awesome, and I disagree with the
Frodo.
criticism. That's
Yeah.
my favorite fucking part in that movie.
Yeah, me too.
It makes me feel things. So later on that night, we went home and we watched, to keep going, my Jim Carrey-a-thon.
Yes.
Bruce Almighty.
Love it.
Nice.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig that movie a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Be the Miracle.
Be
That's
a
the-
beautiful day. Yeah.
I watched a movie called Better Man. EJ, can we talk about Better Man?
Yeah. Oh
the-
my God.
with the
yes.
monkey?
Yes. So at first I thought A Different Man. I was like,
I know.
oh, real.
I know.
And then I'm like, oh wait, no. That's.
I was
do
gonna
want to watch that too. But A Better Man. What'd you think?
fucking so good.
Wasn't it amazing?
Made me cry like 4 times.
Dude, Angels, like that song in the movie.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hit me so hard.
I was like turning away slowly
Yeah.
from Becca, just like lip quivering. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be
Dude.
seen this way. So
That-
vulnerable.
And then when he sings My Way at the end,
That's
I
awesome.
literally was like,
That first song when he's like a little kid and the dad's leaving and shit.
yeah.
That's just like, why is this happening in my life?
But the moment "Let Me Entertain You" when he's like, "Your ass is mine," right? And then he sings, "Let me entertain
Yeah.
you," and then he starts to see all the visions of himself like throughout the years, and he just has that like externalizing that fight, like
Yeah, it's all the different versions
so
of
good.
yourself throughout your life that like you just hate.
Yeah.
Like I love the whole idea of this movie because it's a rock biopic, right? And they were smart enough to just have the main person, Robbie Williams, be a monkey.
yes,
I know it sounds silly,
Oh, this movie. Okay. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's like
So
throughout
good.
the entire film when he's trying to perform and create art, he just has like some version of himself that he sees in the mirror or out in the crowd that just hates him. And it's just like, you suck. Like, you're going to fucking fail. It's like that critical voice that we all have in our head. And by the time he gets to a certain age, there's so many different versions of himself that are like
Sitting in
saying
the
this stuff.
audience,
Yeah, just
yeah.
like, and it's all the the different styles he went through. And they
Yeah.
all just want to see him fail because he wants to see himself fail. And the whole movie is just literally about like learning to accept all those parts of yourself and like learning to love yourself and like learning to love like the great and broken parts of yourself. And by the end of it, I'm like, I just feel so good. It's such a beautiful movie.
And the music's incredible. I've loved Robbie Williams since I remember The Eagle Has Landed, that CD coming out, and Millennium was like the big song on it, and Angels. And you guys would know the song Angels if you heard it, but it was like that one Christmas, that's the one CD I wanted, and it was like amazing. It blew me away. But he was also in the boy band Take That. I don't know if you guys remember them, but
I do, from the movie.
Yeah, I remember that from the movie.
Dude, that fucking part where they like
the rock DJ,
like when they're like walking through the streets and they're just like doing that one song.
I just wanna rock.
Fucking
DJ.
so cool.
Yeah, and it just shows them like through their eras of like the boy band era.
Yeah.
You know, and just in one song, like it's so good. But man, that movie was incredible.
I'm gonna ask you a very challenging question.
Yeah.
So like, there's another rock biopic that came out called A Complete Unknown, the Bob
Yes.
Dylan movie. Some part of me is like, maybe for Best Picture, switch this one out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the problem is. Like,
Okay,
it's
so-
such a wonderful approach to something like that.
So I saw A Complete Unknown twice.
Yeah.
And I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
great.
I thought
Like,
it
it's
was
a
like
great movie. For
yeah.
Sure.
And then I saw A Better Man, because I saw both with Pashi, right?
Uh-huh.
And both of us were like, as much as we loved like the Bob Dylan movie, A Better Man just had so much heart and so cinematic and so much personality that it's like by far the better film.
It got
I
like
don't know.
nominated for like a special effects, and you're like,
Yeah.
really? You can't do better than that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I will wrap this up. I watched more of Dexter Original Sin.
Love it.
Yeah,
I'm
me
so in on that show.
I've got concerns, but I think the show.
What are your concerns?
Okay, have you guys watched Dexter at all?
No.
I've seen some of the videos.
So I thought it was a big misstep when so you have like Harry with Brian Moser's file.
Yeah.
Spoilers to anybody listening to this right now. Put your hands over your ears and go la 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 for the next couple of seconds.
I was about to do that. You just ruined everything you're saying.
Harry Morgan has the Brian Moser file,
Right.
and then LaGuardia sees it.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that she didn't fucking remember that name later on, a couple years later,
Yeah, like 15 years later.
like especially
I guess,
maybe
but-
around like season 7 when she's hardcore investigating Dexter, and you're
Right.
like, that name not ringing a bell. I'm like, little things like that. That's the dangers of prequels, is that like you can do little things that, number one, contradict other things, like when they get high, and
Right.
then like, you know, in the second season he says to Deb that he never got high. I'm a big nerd about Dexter. I know all the little fucking lines in
I
it.
know you do.
I know every word to it.
Yeah.
So there's like little things like that where you're like, I can forgive that. That's, you should know better. You guys are making the show, but still, I'd be cool about it. But like stuff like that concerns. But I think the show overall is lots of fun. It's very much in the spirit of like the first like 3 seasons, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know.
It's really funny because earlier in the season, Dexter's at the bar with the other cops, and he's trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And he makes that joke to the one cop about, you know, eating too much or whatever. Before they sit down with him, a guy walks up to the table.
I thought the same thing.
And so on the internet, someone was like, guys, I think that's the ice truck
Yeah.
person, right? And so then everyone's like, yeah, okay, get out of here, right? And then like it's revealed that that was
Zach and I had that moment when we were watching it. We're like, that guy looks like Rudy, and he's weird too. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like, hey, and he's like, oh, I got a
hey,
friend
anyone
coming.
sitting here?
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, seats are taken, unfortunately, you know. But it's really funny because that person was onto it, and
Maybe he
people were
shouldn't have
like,
went so
"No."
hard into being weird.
Yeah.
It's just like, is this seat taken? It's like,
Is
well,
this
that
seat
guy's
taken?
clearly something.
Uh,
And very last thing I watched was with you.
On Sunday.
What did we watch?
The City of Lost Children. Les City des Enfants Perdus.
What she just said. I
yeah,
love
that's
it.
what I thought. Yeah.
I love that the movie. It's beautiful. I want to watch it again because it's definitely one of those films that I feel like you'd watch it maybe about 5 or 6 times and you'd probably fully appreciate it because there's like a lot of little layers and things
Yeah.
to it that I really enjoyed. Did you see it?
No, it's
then
on my
what are you
list.
doing? What
I
are you
know.
doing? Jesus Christ.
So I love the movie Amelie, and
We're not talking about Amelie right now.
I
With the
have
same
to.
director.
It's the same director.
You know what? What'd you think about Alien Resurrection?
You know, it was pretty cool.
Same director.
I know. Pretty cool.
Wanna talk
Pretty
about
cool
that
movie.
too? No, I think you'd really like that movie.
Yeah, no, I loved Amelie. Is one of the greatest movies I've ever watched in my entire life.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much. So I do want to see that director's other stuff.
He's got a very whimsical style, that guy.
Yeah,
Even that Alien Resurrection movie, which should just be like action schlock.
Right.
So it's got a little whimsy to it.
yeah.
You know?
It has
Do you remember that one shot at the end with the trap door where you're like, huh, that was kind of a weird shot? I actually was looking up videos about the movie the next day, and somebody had that scene, and they're like, why is it shot so weird?
So my brain does. I can't enjoy movies anymore. My film teacher told me that. He's like, there's going to come a point where you can't fully enjoy things anymore because you're just going to be like, that shot's weird. Or,
Yeah.
Where's that light source coming from?
What's going on there? Yeah.
But that's different. That's my problem. What the fuck did you watch?
So I've been watching Dexter: Original Sin, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Patrick My Life Dempsey, who is so good in the show, along with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Who just crushes
all these
it?
new characters that they introduced, and they're all big name people, and I'm like, I can't believe it's just incredible. Christian Slater is amazing in the show, so good.
Yeah, he's wonderful, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Captain Matthews?
I think we're gonna find out soon.
Better, you got an episode. You got one episode left to
I think
fix
it's
this plot hole.
about to probably. I don't know. We'll
But
see.
no. See, here's the problem is that Captain Matthews was around
Yeah.
during Harry's time. He knew Dexter when he was younger.
Right.
There's an episode when they're very young, when Captain Matthews comes over the house and Harry gets real mad about a guy who gets to walk away and shit.
Yeah.
So he should be somewhere, unless they're like, hey, I was in Bermuda.
Well, I'm
Did I
thinking
miss
maybe he's
anything?
in a different department or somewhere else, and then he comes back.
It's
but
just the way that they have it on the original show.
I know.
It's just they're old partners.
yeah.
But whatever.
For any fans who are interested, you can hear more of Rory's thoughts on this on his Dexter podcast, which is called The Dark Splurge.
Splurge.
Yeah, I want to start a Dexter show. I'm going to have one listener, Michael C. Hall. And he's going to say, man, I never want to meet that guy. Anything else?
Well, yeah, no, and that guy, the lead who plays Dexter, is incredible too.
Patrick Gibson.
Yeah. I'm really, really. I was so apprehensive about watching the show again too, because I was like, I don't know. I love the original and I loved New Blood. I don't know how this is gonna go. And then I watched it and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I actually love it.
The slam dunk was their casting of LaGuardia, because I'm like, that's a real hard one.
Yeah, it's insane, and that's Christina Milian, which is it blows my mind.
She sounds like her. She's got that same there's a hint of a nasally sound in the voice, and they both have it, and it's perfect.
I don't know, that show again blows me away. The fact that Patrick Dempsey is just in there is awesome enough.
Playing a wild card.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I was in Thanksgiving and I was and I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah.
Did you watch any movies?
Yes, and so a couple movies that I got to see recently. Two I'll just talk about really quick. Heart Eyes, which is a slasher film.
Seeing a Friday.
It's actually a romantic comedy first, with the slasher aspects in the background.
So a Shaun of the Dead kind of thing?
Yeah.
A romantic comedy with zombies?
Yeah. I would say it's a romantic comedy, but first.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's really, really good. I actually loved it. And then second,
Are there
Companion.
any undead in it?
What is it?
Are there any undead in it?
No.
Okay, so unlike Shaun of the Dead, it's not a zom rom-com.
No, it's not a zombie rom-com. This is just a slash rom-com.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how was the companion?
Companion is so good. I think the less you know about it going in, the better it will be.
Maybe we can talk about it on the next episode when I'll say, "Hey, EJ, I saw that movie. I hated it."
Man, I freaking loved it. And Sophie Thatcher is so good.
Heretic, right?
Yeah. She's so good. And then Jack Quaid's in it, who is incredible. And just the whole cast is just really good. And it's a lot of fun. Like, again, it's weird because
I like Jack Quaid.
Say it's like a horror film. It's just like one of those movies you have to watch. You just have to trust me. You just go see it.
Man, I'm definitely going to see it.
Without knowing.
It's on my radar.
Even you guys, like, I think you will be like, oh, this is rad. There's a lot of great subtext in it, too.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
Hey, before we...
I like to think I'm pretty up on modern culture, and then I come here and listen to them talk, and I feel like, man, I need to get out more.
Before we jump into today's episode, I have something I've been waiting 2 weeks to ask you.
Oh my god.
We're going to do something brand new on Frequels. We're going to talk about a couple trailers.
Ooh, okay.
So, Fantastic Four, you're like the Fantastic Four guy.
Yeah. I think the trailer looks amazing. I hope they just fix some of the CGI for the Thing.
Sure.
I think the Thing should be practical. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think like just practical effects are so much better to begin with, and especially a character like that, because then it feels more authentic and real. And so
his voice sucks too.
Yeah. I just was like,
it's supposed to be like, it's clobbering time.
It's clobbering time.
It's supposed to sound like he's like gargling
Yancey
bricks.
Street. Yeah. No, my thing, I wish he was practical. I thought they were doing practical, but then I guess they're just going full CGI for the character. But
why not? It's lazy.
Yeah, that's like my biggest gripe with that whole trailer. Other than that, I love like the 60s like nuclear family stuff that they have going on. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know.
So I want to talk about one other trailer.
Yeah.
I know we're talking a lot. So I'm watching. I'm on YouTube the other day, and I saw a trailer that I thought was an SNL skit. It's called Jurassic World Afterbirth.
Oh my god.
Rebirth.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
So I didn't watch that trailer.
Don't watch the movie either. No, I'm kidding. That is the lamest franchise. One of the lamest franchises I can think of. Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Hang on.
I know.
You're getting real close to fighting words.
I know.
And I just want to let you know
that you like the franchise.
That there is a very special place in my heart for Jurassic Park. Jurassic World can suck it.
That's what I'm talking about. The original Jurassic Park is a perfect movie.
Yeah, I'm saying you're getting close to fighting words. I just wanted to warn you.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair to just drop kick you without any warning.
Even the two sequels that followed it, I can find something in there that I really like. Mm-hmm. That whole Jurassic World thing for me was so annoying. I saw the three of them, and it's like everything I hate about modern movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know? Except that second one. I don't want to remember what the name of it was. Jurassic World Domino's Pizza or something.
Domino's.
It's something. But there's a scene
Jurassic World
where
Domino's.
There's a dinosaur running around a mansion.
Yeah.
And then one dinosaur pretends that it's knocked out and looks at the camera and winks. I'm like, why can't we lean into this schlock?
Yeah.
This looks like fun. The last one, it was so bad. There was like locusts eating all the food, and I'm like, isn't this about dinosaurs?
Nope.
Where are we? Oh, we're going back to the island now. That's cool. But yeah, I saw that trailer, man, and it looks like a parody of a Jurassic Park movie.
Is Denver in it?
I wish.
The last dinosaur.
Denver, the last dinosaur. He's my friend and a whole lot more. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But
pretty cool.
I've been waiting a while to talk to you about
And
Fantastic
a whole
Four.
lot more?
Yeah.
Your friends with benefits with Denver?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I remember. Tell me if I'm remembering this wrong.
He did under the shirt stuff.
He did. Didn't need a lot of persuading that dinosaur.
Yeah.
I remember like there was like if I'm remembering this correctly, I was like single digits when I watched the show. But was it like a Clark Kent with glasses sort of thing where he puts on like a Letterman's jacket and people didn't realize he was a dinosaur?
Yeah,
that
they,
like-
they thought he was a foreign exchange student.
But they're like,
They're like, Denmark is weird.
hey, everybody at home.
That feels very racist.
Right?
Where are you from, Dino Island?
Yes. Denmark? What? No, what? I forget. Where did they say it was from?
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. No, it was like. Am I confusing that with something else?
Who cares anymore?
I
right?
I'm thinking of Encino Man.
We've seen
Didn't
two-
they say Encino Man?
Estonia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where they said he was from. I just know, if I remember correctly, he pops on like a Letterman's jacket and everybody's like, hey, check out the new cool kid.
He could skateboard. Luckily, he was born with that tail that really counterbalances his weight.
He's got that 90s edge we like, too.
Yeah.
He's like, it was like everyone wanted to be like Bart Simpson back then. So he got a skateboard. I think he played guitar.
Did he have pants, though?
I don't think so. That's a problem when you're in school.
Yeah.
I learned
He's
that
your
the hard
friend
way.
and a whole lot more.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a real sad documentary coming out about his experience in school.
Oh, you know what? He was from Denver, maybe.
Denver from Colorado.
But
We're
yeah.
like literally spending so much time talking about this show that no one remembers.
So, I did not watch the new Jurassic Park. Is it Jurassic Park or is it still Jurassic World?
Yeah.
Jurassic World. So I didn't watch the new trailer. I actually was like, I'm good. I feel like
Are you saying that you've seen enough?
it popped up, and I was like, I could watch this right now, or I could just go about doing other stuff.
Like
and I was
live your life.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm sure I'll see it. In
Just literally like
theaters.
a scene in it where there's like these dinosaurs swimming in the water, and Scarlett Johansson's literally like, "Well, that's not good." And I'm like, "Who fucking wrote that line?
They start putting on pork pie hats.
Why does
And
everything
singing
have
barbershop.
Why did film turn into a thing where everybody has to have like that Joss Whedon quippiness in every goddamn scene?
Well, that's
Marvel.
not good.
Marvel, but like,
Yeah, it's because the Avengers happened and it was wildly successful, and then everybody was like, well, we just have to do that
over and over
into the ground.
into the ground it went. Hey,
Yes.
speaking of
Yeah.
in the ground, I
Yeah.
made a pun.
Let's talk about the movie
Yeah.
that we're here for.
Yeah, I bet you thought we were never gonna get here.
An hour and a half into the podcast.
Yeah.
No,
Hey, we can talk more about Dino or what the fuck's Denver?
Denver. How dare you?
Sorry. made
He's
notes.
your friend and a whole lot more. How dare you?
He's your friend with benefits. Anyway,
He's your friend and he doesn't shut the door. Can you shut the door? It's freezing in here. Were you born in the Ice Age? Probably were with all those other freaking assholes. So today we're talking about Lisa Frankenstein. And
Smoothest transition ever.
yeah.
Thanks.
I
Yeah,
gave
it
you
kills me
such.
that we had a really nice transition there
I
about
had
like
something.
speaking of in the ground, and then
And we just.
and then we ran that into the ground.
Hey,
Yeah.
good thing about editing.
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Hard edit.
Sorry. I didn't mean to talk about Denver anymore.
No, leave that Denver bit in, please. And if you're not gonna leave it in, send it to me.
Okay. You know,
I'm gonna make that my ringtone.
I have a feeling that this isn't the last we're going to be speaking of Denver.
I know. It's going to pop up a lot.
So cut the whole first bit where you guys talk about it, but leave in all of the subsequent references to it, so that
Yes.
nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Like, there's a lot of Denver talk this week. Well, oddly enough, the transition is Cole Sprouse in this movie is kind of like Denver the Last Dinosaur.
He has a tail.
And
He's her friend and a whole lot more.
yeah,
Yeah, see, we got there.
see,
Nice.
they found him underground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is that where
it's
they
just-
found Denver? Was he underground?
Yeah, I think he was.
Was it like
originally.
they like spilled blood on him and he like reformed? Like
in Denver?
fossil? Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I think it was like an archaeological dig next to a skate park.
yeah, which happens a lot, especially in the '90s, and that's how they found Denver.
Was it like a Hellraiser thing where like Denver was like sucking the skin off of a child?
He's like, help me. Just feed me.
Come to Denver.
Come to Denver. Do you have a kiss for Denver? I think he fed off the blood of the children and the other children at the skate park.
Yeah.
Because
That's how he got
the
his
kids that
scales
found them
back.
were like, "Hey, we'll bring you other kids."
Hey, let's
To
fuck
feed
around
your-
with this thing.
Yeah.
The kid fell off his skateboard and his blood accidentally dripped on the fossils.
And he's like,
Wow, man, that's a wicked wreck out.
yeah.
And then he like bled onto the Denver.
Denver's like, "Come here, let me get a look at that."
Bring me more.
He's your friend and a whole lot more. He also owns your soul.
It's not a big deal. Just sign the contract.
Oh God! If this show could go off the rails, it's off the rails.
It's off. So today we're talking about Lisa Frankenstein, which is directed by Zelda Williams, daughter of Robin Williams,
Great Robin Williams.
and written by Diablo Cody, who is
Denver Cody, right?
Denver Cody, yeah, who wrote Juno and Jennifer's Body, and a great writer,
Yeah.
The United States of Terra, and so what a great team right out the gate with just
Yeah.
those two. Then we have the stars of this film, Cole Sprouse from Riverdale.
Sprouse Mouse.
Yeah. He's weird. I'm a weirdo. Okay, Betty? And
Seeing him, did it give you like pangs for river dudes?
a little, yeah. I loved Riverdale. I don't care.
He did.
I do. I don't mind. I want to go back and rewatch all of Riverdale again. But Cole Sprouse, awesome. Catherine Newton, who is
Awesome.
outstanding in this movie. So good.
She's always great in everything that she's in.
Yeah, she is so freaking hilarious in this movie.
So tell me if I'm wrong with her. Her movies, like, she's always great. They get like a lot of good stuff out of her, but her movies don't ever really pop.
No,
Like
which is so
Freaky.
weird. Yeah, Freaky is so good.
It's great, and even like one of the friggin' Marvel movies that she was in.
Yeah,
Quantumania.
Yeah,
Is that what it's called?
Quantumania,
Like
yeah.
that movie didn't do so hot either.
Yeah,
but like
that didn't-
she's always so good and expressive, and
Yeah. And it's weird because even when I met her, she talked about Terrifier the whole time.
I know.
Which she was like, who directed? You know that movie Beat the Joker? Like, she was like, I think maybe she was nervous about numbers. I don't know.
She informed me that the movie didn't do well because I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I really loved it. And she's like, yeah, I wish more people showed up to see it. And I was just like, oh, did it not do well? Like I was very confused to hear that because
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, man, this is going to be like somebody's thing. It's like one of those movies. Like someone's gonna base their whole fucking life around it, and rightfully so because it's just awesome. It's like how people feel about movies like Heathers.
Yeah, I would say Heathers is like a
Jawbreaker.
perfect example. This movie, I think, in due time,
It's a
will
cult
have like a
classic,
cult
yeah.
status. Yeah,
I'm
I
just
think
glad somebody else has seen Jawbreaker. Thank you for making that reference.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that movie. Hey, Julie Benz, if we could talk about Dexter again.
So. Yeah, no, but I feel like this movie is so funny and so smart and beautiful looking.
Is that
It's
like- is that
how
like the-
can this not be successful?
The
I
thing
mean, it is as
Visually,
a film.
it
It's
is a
successful,
treat for
but
the eyes. I love
Yeah.
watching it.
Is it considered neon goth?
I would say neon goth.
Is that like a
pretty
thing?
cool. Yeah,
Is that a thing?
yeah.
There's
what's
neon goth,
making
there's
it?
pastel goth.
Because it's
But
kind of.
this one is like, because it's set in the 80s, like there were a lot of people who we would consider in the goth aesthetic who would not consider themselves goth. So it's a weird line.
I do like the old guy that sees Cole Sprouse at one point. He's like, "Hey, you get out of here!" He's like, definitely a goth hater. You know, you could tell.
Or there's the scene in the principal's office where the cop or whatever is like, I can't wait for this goth thing to flow over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
So I guess it is kind of admitting to the goth aesthetic at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful looking movie, and shame on you, Oscars,
yeah.
for bypassing that one.
I feel like in time, I would say like within 10 years, I could see this having like a resurgence of popularity.
It's like one of those like it's gonna pop movies at some point because like a lot of like cult classics don't take off. Like people think movies like Evil Dead and The Thing, maybe not so much Evil Dead, but like stuff like The Thing, like that they were like huge hits right out of the gate. But
right.
Some of them aren't. They just find their audience over time.
And I feel like this over time will definitely find its audience and like the right people.
Can you tell me when?
2031. And that movie is gonna pop.
If it pops before then, God help you.
I know.
We'll come to your house and stab you.
I can see like kids. Like if this came out when I was younger, like it did come out and around the time of Heathers and stuff. I think this movie would be like now considered like a cult classic. So
I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see
We
kids
all agree.
watching it at a young age, really, really taking to this movie and like loving it. Because I know if I was like a young kid, like 10 or 11, watching this movie, I'm like, oh man, high school is gonna be awesome.
Oh, one of those movies that lied to you.
Yes.
Do you remember like when you saw Scream for the first time? And like, man, when I get to high school, everyone's gonna be
man.
like real film literate. And...
Yeah.
And stabbing each other.
Well, that did happen.
Right. Yeah.
Sadly.
That part was real. I was more excited about the film nerds.
Literacy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the breakdown of this movie. So the film opens with this awesome animated title sequence that basically shows the life of Cole Sprouse, like his creature beforehand.
It's like a paper-like black and white aesthetic with a cartoonish quality.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot. Have you ever seen the silent film Prince Ahmed?
No.
Yes.
It was paper cut.
New sequels, let me tell you.
It was a paper cut shadow with like a multi-plane camera. So
Okay.
they had like paper and cardboard, and they would move it kind of stop motion style and film it. And it looks absolutely amazing. So it reminded me of the opening credits.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Prince Ahmed.
Ahmed.
I don't even have to have you repeat it. I could have just listened to this back.
Yeah.
But, no.
Nobody
thank you.
listens to this show,
I
Rory.
know.
Not even you.
I have to. Yeah, it also reminded me of that sequence in Krampus.
Yeah, I was gonna say Krampus, the new remake of Candyman, has like
sure.
the scenes at the end. But Krampus is a great example.
But it's nice that it tells the story. It doesn't belabor the point, and you kind of understand his history without having to like go into
Endure
it.
it.
Yeah.
right.
I thought it was also a really clever use of the time, like the screen time.
Yeah.
To take that instead of just having graphics and sort of like a pointless montage.
Yeah.
To have it actually communicate like a prologue to the story.
Yeah.
Because that also tells you right off the bat that like you need to pay attention. This is not a movie that you can be scrolling on your phone and just sort of have it on in the background. Like you're not gonna get the full effect of the story. You have to actually watch it.
It's also very historically accurate because back then everything was made out of paper.
Right.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
And cartoony.
Yeah. Of course, I watched Denver the Last Dinosaur.
Dinosaurs are cartoons.
So then we cut to present day 1980s, and we see Lisa hanging out in the cemetery, and she's doing she's pretty much writing
Wax rubbing.
Wax rubbing of like Frankenstein, and then we see like Lisa above it, and it's like the title sequence. It's awesome.
And can I just say, I absolutely love right off the bat an awesome nod to Mary Shelley because Mary Shelley, she used to hang out in the cemetery where her mother was buried, whose name was also Mary Shelley. And so that's actually how she learned to write her name as a small child, was by doing wax rubbings of her mother's grave.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
And there was also like a book of Shelley on the grave, right?
There's a lot of references to Mary
Yeah.
Shelley throughout this.
Yeah, that was nice.
But I just loved, like, right off the bat, they were like, this is how deep we're getting in the lore. Like, if you were a weird girl in high school,
And I
you are
was.
gonna get it and you're gonna love it.
As
And-
somebody who does a cemetery tour, I just wanted to say about the gravestone rubbings, it's a great way to study graveyard art because there are different symbols that mean things on the grave. But check with the office at the cemetery before you do anything because some older sections do not allow for that because it might damage the stone. And also, a lot of the stones, if they're old, ground tends to shift, and so stones might fall on you. So just be careful hanging out in cemetery.
Yeah.
As a guy who hangs out, you might say lurks.
Take it from an old goth.
Yeah.
As a guy who lurks in cemeteries, this is a good warning.
I mostly climb up in the trees and wait until people pass by.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me.
AJ, remember when we first met, we used to just go kick graves over?
Yeah.
Remember that?
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why people got so upset about it, but we don't have to talk about that. What else happened in this movie?
Yeah, so, and I love the use of the song The Promise by When in Rome. It's such a great song to open with. It just has such a strong beat. And then we meet where, we see Lisa, she's getting ready, and her half-sister comes in, Taffy. And she might be, like, the coolest character, like, one of the coolest characters in this movie. I love Taffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like this sister?
I like Taffy.
Like the sister-in-law, I guess, but...
Kind of
Stepsister.
Stepsister, that's it.
Typically
yeah.
is what it's called.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, sister-in-law is not right, because that means she married her brother. No, okay,
No.
So, yeah. Stepsister.
I like her. A little passive-aggressive, but
Yeah.
No, she's just popular and stupid.
But she also, like, gives backhanded compliments a lot, and they do seem
little bit.
a little thought out. But that's...
I have in my notes, stepsisters bonding over the torture devices that were jellies.
Yeah. And so her half-sister, Taffy, is insisting that she comes to this function, and Lisa is not really crazy about it. But then they go, and they're in the car, and they're making small talk. And she gets Lisa to admit she has a crush on a boy named Michael Trent.
Reznor.
Michael Trent Reznor.
I like how
That
she's
is
like...
true, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Trent Reznor's first name is Michael, and he goes by his middle name, because Michael is also his father's name.
Did not know that.
Yes.
Did not know that.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
I like when they're driving, and she's like, oh, he's cerebral. And she's like, oh, he's in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
In my notes, it just says classic Diablo Cody.
Yeah.
That's like the most Diablo Cody line.
Right. And I love how, like, Lisa goes, no. Like, her responses are so good in this movie.
There's one that she does. I mean, I don't mean to skip ahead, but
Yeah.
when she's in the principal's office
Oh.
at the end,
Yeah.
and they're like, she has like a weird walk and like big ankles, and she's
It's
like,
like, what? Yeah, I
Her
love that too.
response is so
Like,
funny.
to the ankles.
That made me laugh like really hard for some reason.
Me too.
But I love how many times Taffy will say something and you can see Lisa think like, am I going to get into it? And then she decides it's not worth it. And so she's just like, no, Taff, no, that's not it.
No.
And Taffy, who is like dumb but sweet, is just like, oh, okay. And, continues on with her life.
Yeah. Lisa brings up how she likes to hang out at the one cemetery, especially at this one grave in particular. And eventually they get to the party, and Lisa runs into Michael Trent and makes small talk with Michael Trent. And
I just want to talk about this party.
Yeah.
The jocks at this party, I don't buy it. It's very unbelievable that these are 80s jocks, because not one of them is wearing a crop top.
That's true.
Oh,
That's true.
yeah.
They need like a Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street
Yeah.
half shirt.
Like, just the whole party is just half shirts.
Yeah.
All the guys, yeah. All the jocks.
We should make the half shirt cut.
Yo, let's do it.
I
Not
like
one single guy.
one thing that jumped out at me immediately. I won't stay on it, but I was like looking at all the different kids walking around. They want to socialize.
Yeah.
Socialization's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like I'm like looking at. I'm like, why doesn't anyone care or try? Like you're just going to a party and you're like, I have to make stupid small talk with people for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then, like, nothing might come from it. You just kind of go home and you're like, I could have done other things. I'm just talking to people. I
Yeah.
feel like that all the time.
You know,
I don't like socializing anymore.
I always consider myself the owl glasses guy from Great Gatsby.
I thought you were talking about that Chips guy, the owl.
Oh, yeah.
Wise.
Him. Yeah, the wise guy. Yeah. Or the Tootsie Pop owl. It takes 3 licks.
Is he a pervert?
I think so.
Yeah.
But anyways, I always considered myself like that guy. Just go off and like considers like smaller. Well, Jordan Baker says it. It's like smaller parties are more intimate, bigger parties are more intimate because then you break off into smaller groups. And I feel like that's pretty accurate for me. I feel like
I think you're a very social guy in general.
No, I don't like to be.
You liar!
Oh my god!
Everyone loves you.
I like to just go.
That was
off.
the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I know.
EJ.
No, like it got quiet for a second because we're all
Anyone
like,
who's
"That's not true."
ever
buys
been to
that.
karaoke at the same time as you
I
knows who
don't break
you
off.
are.
You're like
You-
a beacon of light.
You throw the biggest Halloween party every year.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I'm
Yeah.
always by myself. I'm just kidding.
See,
always off by myself.
I like to socialize, but most of the
Yeah.
time I'm upstairs. I'm up in my head,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking about
They're
how
upstairs in their
stupid-
house,
yeah.
going through their drawers.
Everyone's at that party.
Everyone's partying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feeling is actually encapsulated in a song by Andy Black called "We Don't Have to Dance," and it's
That is
about
an
how much he
excellent
hates
song.
being at parties and socializing.
Yeah. I like. I'm an observer. I watch people sometimes, and I'm like, you're trying so hard, and I don't know what it's for.
Yeah.
People say and do stupid things all the time, and I fixate, and then I go on a podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my time.
That's what.
I like
that's
this.
what-
This is fun.
Yeah. Same.
You know?
Samesies.
Anyway,
So at the party, we see.
One
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick thing. That neonish green sky. That's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so
Oh,
cool. Which plays into.
The visuals are just incredible.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful looking
Yeah.
movie.
A lot of the uses of like the neon pink and purple and just like the lighting design in this movie in general is just really, really cool. On top of like the set design, it's just a great movie.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Zelda Williams does because this was her directorial debut, and
Yeah.
so it's amazing
Crazy.
that the film has such a presence. Like you can really get a feel for her as a director
Yeah.
visually and the
Yeah.
performances that she's getting out of the performers. And it's her first time behind the camera like that. It's amazing. So I cannot wait to see what she does next.
Yeah.
To see how her signature style, progresses and like really takes form.
She and that Diablo Cody should just stay together. They
Oh,
seem
yeah.
like they're perfectly matched.
Dream
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And one thing about before we move on to like the storm and stuff, when she's talking to Michael and they're talking about the school literary magazine, it's called
Yeah.
The Grackle, which I loved because I'm like a symbology nerd, and grackles are a type of bird. I guarantee you've seen them. I guarantee that you've heard them. They're kind of noisy and annoying, and they can be representative of somebody who's kind of like abrasive, offbeat. In some contexts, they symbolize the courage that it takes to be, unapologetically yourself. But a lot of the time, they're kind of just sort of like representative of an annoyance.
We're a couple of grackles.
Yeah, we are.
But
Yeah.
also, they are representative of like needing to re-examine old emotions and old grief, especially,
yeah.
which I thought was a really fun little. First of all, it's a great name for like a poetry, like a literary magazine that
Right.
legitimately is a great name. But also like in keeping in the movie's theme, I thought that was a very clever little
Yeah.
nod, which again, Diablo Cody is really good at taking like little things like that and putting them in there just as a tiny little Easter egg.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's funny because as soon as we hear that conversation, it cuts over to Taffy, and a couple girls ask like, "What's Lisa's situation? Why is she so weird? Why is she so strange?" And then like, what happened to her mom? And then she's like, "Oh, I really shouldn't say this because I don't know if I'm legally allowed to talk about it, but I'll tell you guys because you're my cheer friends, my cheer sisters." And we find out her backstory, Lisa's backstory, and it's kind of like a horrific, terrible event where her mom was pretty much murdered right in front of her. This guy broke into the house, killed her, and then she like hid in the closet, and the guy like got away with the murder, was never found. And after that, it was like all this trauma that really happened with Lisa. And I feel like the crackle thing kind of plays into that because she still is like processing grief. And her dad moved on so quick. We find
Dale,
out, too.
the actual villain of the movie.
Yeah, Dale.
Taffy says within 6 months.
6 months.
He had met his current wife, Taffy's mother.
Janet.
And she doesn't say how quickly they got married, but she says it happened quick.
Yeah, it's like 6 months.
Yeah, she said they met about 6 months. They got married real quick. And
now they're sisters.
Yeah. And she says, and it was great because, Dale didn't have to be lonely and Lisa got a new mom. And statistically, like the number of men, especially if they have a kid already, if they lose their wife, they get married again, like within a year. It's wild how
crazy.
Quickly a lot of men will just be like, I just need a wife. I just need a partner that's taking care of me, my house, and my kids. And
as a black widower over
turn and just turn around and find a new person. And I feel like throughout the film, the way that Dale is so checked out, like he does just want to be like, watching TV and reading the paper and like, yes, dear, that's great, hun.
Yeah.
It
really is.
It really seems like he did just go out and say, well, I need someone to cook and do my laundry and, like make sure my kid gets to school.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because the first time I saw this, I thought for a second there that story about her mom being murdered wasn't going to be real. Like,
right.
Me
it was
too.
all like, yeah.
But, like, it's actually, like, a really nice detail because, number one, it's just visually interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But number two, it kind of makes a lot of her actions going forward make a lot of sense to me because she has, like, a lot of unresolved trauma. And grief.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And she's not allowed to process anything that she's feeling. So the fact that she kind of veers into, like, violence makes a lot of sense to me. And the fact that also they say that people who are, say, like, abused or attacked sometimes identify with their attackers, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing. I'm not making it up. Grab a book, America.
No, I think like everyone kind of ignores her trauma
As
and,
they should.
her grief.
They
and
should.
so the only one, I mean, she acknowledges it later in the movie, is like Taffy is the only one that like cuts her a break, is very nice to her, more understanding than everybody else.
Yeah.
Even though Taffy has her moments too, where it could come off like a little callous, right? But like, I feel like, like no one is really processing exactly what trauma she really went through.
Well, I mean, and even Taffy says that she didn't talk for like a couple of months. She said she was silent after that ordeal.
Yeah.
I like when things like, it's just fun because it's sort of like a pseudo horror film, but like it helps inform all the choices that she makes later on, like being drawn to death and
right.
and it's just like a very smart script.
Oh, super.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. So at the party, while Lisa is talking to Michael Trent, Michael Trent's friend Tamara comes over and she has a cup and she's like, "Hey, you want to drink this?" to Lisa, and Lisa's like, "Yeah, sure." Right. And so she drinks, and then immediately there's something wrong with the drink, and Michael Trent like takes a sip and he spits it out. He's like, "Oh, great. It's like filled with PCP." And you're like, "Oh my God." So
The
Lisa,
thing with that is like, I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
That I'll admit to. But that shit looks like a lot of fun.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Just
I don't want to try it. But I'm watching the movie and I'm like, man, if you were in good circumstances by yourself somewhere, you're just tripping like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. All you kids at home, do drugs. Go on.
So
Write in and tell us what PCP tastes like, because I was very curious. I'm like, what does it taste?
Yeah, those.
I'm very curious.
And it's great because on Frequels, we have a history of kids actually getting back to us. Like, remember when we told them to chug that bottle of Mr. Clean and let us know how that tasted?
Yeah.
The one that survived got back to us.
Yeah.
They said it was his last words.
Oh, no. So her lab partner comes along, and his name is Doug. and he tries to help Lisa upstairs. And as she's like walking through the hallways, he's like, "Oh, you like movies? And who's your favorite director?" And she's like, "Pabst." He's like, "Oh, you're just reading my beer can?" And she's
She's like, no, he's an actual director.
"Yeah."
Phony.
And he's like, "Oh, really? What kind of movies?" She's like, "Silence." He's like, "Okay, here's a room that's pretty silent, right?" But I love Lisa in this scene because she's like experiencing, drugs for the first time. And she looks at the one painting and it's like the ocean, but it's like moving. Like you see the ship at sea, right? And facing the storm. And
Which is like a nice little visual metaphor for what she's probably feeling.
right, yeah, like just feeling lost at sea a little bit, lost in her emotions. And so I feel like she has these great moments and she's still like trying to answer this kid, but she's really out there. And then fucking Doug turns out to be a dickhead.
Scumbag.
Hey,
Big creepy scumbag.
Before he turns into a creepy scumbag, he says, because it starts thundering outside, and he's like, looks like the angels are bowling. And then I immediately had a visual in my head of angels just like letting loose bowling. It's the best thing that guy did in this entire film.
Yeah. Well, I do like how she has that quick moment of thinking about her mom. She's like, yeah, my mom used to say that too. Like the angels bowling thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, but then he turns out to be a creep. He's like, hey, you like that? And he's like trying to cop a feel, right? And then, and she's like, ugh. And she like gets out of there. And, the scene after is really cool because she's like walking down the stairs and they kind of blend her walking through the forest in the house together. Making it seem like no time has really passed in between. It's a really cool
and
idea.
you're not really sure till the end of the scene what actually happened. Like you realize, oh, that was representative of her like walking home.
Yeah.
Through the forest, through the cemetery. Like she went past there. But it was a really neat way to show all of that from her perspective, really.
Yeah.
But in a way that we could still understand.
And we see, she's at her favorite tombstone, and it's basically like a bust of Cole Sprouse's character, and she wishes for like the tombstone man to be real. She's like, I wish you were real, and wishes for him to be, wishes him into life, basically. And
during a wacky ass.
Well, really, what she says is,
Yeah.
"I wish I was with you."
Yeah,
That was the specific.
And
I thought she said, I wish I was big.
Yeah,
You
and
remember
then
that
that's,
movie?
that's a different movie.
Oh, that's a different movie? Jeez, so sorry.
and then so she gets home and we see, she like smashes the mirror and climbs into bed. Meanwhile, we see
I
lightning.
have, in my notes, the broken mirror representing her shattered emotional state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see lightning strike that grave plot where the bust
Sprouse Mouse.
was. Cool. Yeah, Sprouse Mouse.
Would you say that lightning crashes?
I would.
Oh, I feel don't sue us.
Cause we can't afford that now. So Lisa has a dream, and this looks amazing. Like super inspired. I like this whole dream sequence. Like I love the makeup that she has and like the
it's so
sparkles. The set design.
Her
hair.
George Méliès's trip to the moon
Yes, yeah.
on the outside. Like as soon as I saw that, I'm like,
reminded
I'm
me
gonna
of
love
that.
this movie.
It reminded me of that immediately, especially with all the backgrounds being like drawn.
Yeah.
So it's very clearly drawings of things instead of being the objects.
Even like her dresser has like the lines of like a comic book thing,
Yeah.
like of wood, and just everything looks so cool and like old school silent film, and especially like a trip to the moon, and it's really crazy because
they even have like that Universal Monsters aesthetic going on.
yeah,
George
because
Méliès?
her hair,
George Méliès, yes.
George Méliès,
Especially she's kind of done up like Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
and and that movie, The Moon in particular, is directly out of A Trip to the Moon.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Well,
she has the
it's-
poster on her closet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
That's sort of funny, like how iconic that image is with the moon with like,
Yeah.
the little thing in its eye.
Did you ever watch it?
Yeah, of course.
We
Me
could
too.
thank the Smashing Pumpkins video for Tonight for introducing a lot of people to that.
I think that was definitely my introduction.
I had to watch it in film school,
Yeah.
and I just was like really like taken by it. I'm like, man, this is really neat.
Yeah.
I also think it's in Lords of Salem, the Rob
Oh.
Zombie flick.
Yeah, it is?
Yeah, it's Sherry Moon Zombie's bedroom. She has that there. Like, it pops up in a lot of movies made by cinephiles.
Am I wrong in remembering that there's a movie about that director's life?
Oh yeah, it's called Hugo.
Yes.
Remember
Oh,
Hugo
yeah,
with
yeah.
the Scorsese movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the shit. That movie's so good. It's I love that movie so much because it's like literally just like made by a person who just like loves movies.
Now, I also read a thing about that movie, that Thomas Edison. Okay, so the director was hoping to release this movie, A Trip to the Moon, in the States and make money off of it. But Thomas Edison already released the movie and was playing it, so he never got any of the money from that.
that
checks
Thomas
out.
Edison.
Yeah.
He's an
What
asshole.
what a
Thomas
dick.
fucking Edison. I hate
Yeah,
that guy.
he's a dick.
There's did you ever see his Frankenstein?
No.
What?
Who, Thomas Edison?
Yeah, those
No.
are two Thomas Edison Studios.
No.
Watch it.
Oh my god,
I'm
why is
sorry,
it bad?
sorry for no, it's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like because like in the Universal one, there's all that beautiful set, and they put them on the little bed, and they raise it up, and electricity hits them.
Yeah.
This is like a fucking tub they throw chemicals into, and boom, insta monster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not nearly as impressive, but fuck, it's like 1910.
Yeah.
Could you do better? I couldn't.
No, hell no. So the next day, Lisa wakes up, and her stepmom, played by the great Carla Gugino,
She's awesome always,
always
I
in
love her.
everything.
and she's like so funny in this movie.
Also, her
Yeah.
shoulder pads are immaculate.
Perfect.
yeah, her outfits throughout this film are just on point.
Oh yeah, she's perfect.
yeah,
She does a lot of Mike Flanagan projects.
yeah.
She must have had some time off.
Like, yeah, seriously. But yeah, she calls out Lisa for breaking the mirror in the bathroom, and she's like, at one point, she's like scolding Lisa about the mirror and stuff, and I like when she goes to Dale, the husband. She's like, "Aren't you gonna say anything or do anything or blah blah blah?" Like to your daughter. He's like, "Oh yeah, make sure to clean it up." And then she like stares at him more, and he's like, "And you're gonna have to pay for that mirror too." And she's like, "Okay, I'll work extra time at."
The Yarn Barn.
The
where
Yarn
she
Barn,
worked?
yeah.
I don't know where she's, but I like she yells that she isn't gonna coddle her, and she
Yeah.
said, "No one coddled me when my dad blew up in Da Nang."
What a crazy line!
That line is delivered so perfectly.
She goes, and that's why I am the way I am.
And that's why I am the way I am.
That is inspired writing.
It really is. Carla Gugino, man, like just delivers. She's so good. But Diablo Cody freaking can write anything, and it's just always amazing.
Her writing has so much personality to it.
Yeah,
like you
it
could
really
just like
does.
hear her dialogue, and you're like, she fucking wrote that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So at work, Lisa runs into Michael Trent, who comes in, and
Did you like when she like picks her head up and she's got those goggles on?
Yeah,
and she
and it's
looks
like-
like Dana Barrett in Ghostbusters 2.
yeah, she's like, what? And he comes in and he apologizes for her drink being spiked and stuff. And I love when her boss comes along and like blows up her spot. basically. He's like, oh, are you one of her friends? I didn't think she had any friends.
She's like a real loser.
She's like, she always works every Saturday, which is great for me because she could never get any dates. And you're like,
He's like, probably because she's so flat-chested.
yeah, and you're like, who is this guy? He rules. No, he's just. I wish he was my boss.
Catherine Newton's performance and all this stuff when everyone's just like shoveling shit onto her is so funny.
Yeah, she just has like this great like pause that she'll do, and she's just like she wants to say something, but she just cannot muster up like the right thing to say at the time. But or she just is like, I'll save it, like kind of reserved. But she's so good in this movie. She's so good.
Or the way that sometimes she'll whisper to herself.
Yeah.
Like, she'll be like, why? Would you say that?
Why'd you do that?
Be like, what?
Yeah. Then Tamara comes in, and with Michael Trent, and he's like, yeah, if you could get this out of my jacket, and they're like, oh yeah, sure. I like how Tamara, like, they say bye, and she like gives her like a little like middle finger, like a hidden middle finger. So Lisa gets home late for the family pizza night. And
which the way this scene starts, and she's
I also have a note about that.
She's like, that's why the teacher has to teach with the door open.
God. Yes, I wrote that. I was like, Taffy's thing. Oh my God, that killed me because you don't even know the full story.
I
but
know.
You just
I
know,
love
like,
jokes like that.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I want to know what happened like 20 seconds earlier.
Yeah. And that's why he can never have the door closed. So Lisa gets home and she's like, oh, great pizza. And then it's just like meat lovers pizza. It's just filled with meat. And they're like, oh, sorry, honey. And like, I love how she looks at it. It's just like piled, like a
comically
like
so.
A pyramid of just meat on top of this.
And that's
pizza.
when we find out she's a vegetarian.
Yes, yeah. And I like that Janet, the Carla Gugino, she's like, you could just scrape it off or pick around it, right? And you're like, oh, yeah, okay. But I also like that at this point, she's like, why were you there so long? And she's like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not going to do the movie and stuff. And she's like, why are you tired from your job? What are you, like a little old lady over your sewing machine? She's like, Taffy did 3 hours of cheer practice, and that takes so much energy. And she's like, I can't believe she could do it. And Taffy's like, yeah, Mom, it's no problem. You just get used to all the stretching. And I forget what she says exactly. She's like, she has her legs spread across the walls.
Oh, yeah, they're talking about Taffy doing, like, splits and stuff as part of the routine. And she's like, no, honey, you put in the work. All those hours and hours of you with your legs spread against the wall, screaming.
Yeah. She's like, I'm used to it, And then I like when Lisa is like, well, my finger hurts, right?
So you
like,
get, but you grow a callus.
Yeah, but it's a callus, and Taffy's like, oh, I know what you're talking about, and I'm like, what?
So
and then so that night, Lisa is watching Day of the Dead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what is she watching?
Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
You see Bub, and you
yes.
get to see fucking Joe Pilato in this movie.
Yeah, I wish it was the scene where he just gets like pulled apart.
Joe Joe Pilato. Have you ever seen Day of the Dead?
No.
Not in a long time.
So like the Romero, I'm gonna say the first 4 of them. Mm-hmm. It's like you're watching The Walking Dead. The Romero zombie movies are like The Walking Dead, but done perfectly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they started the modern genre.
Yeah, like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead sort of function as like a trilogy.
Yeah.
And Captain Rhodes is like the most awful villain ever. Yep. He's so funny. That performance.
Yeah.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein.
Before
And
we
Bub.
move on,
but,
though,
oh yeah.
I just want to say about the scene. Between her boss and school and family, she is surrounded by assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So after this traumatic event that happened, like, how do you heal in an unsupportive environment? There is literally no place in her life except for that cemetery where she has refuge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like we were just talking a second ago about how sometimes it's like she can't find the words to express herself. That's like a form of trauma, though.
Yeah.
Like when you're like in like a cloud or something.
Yeah.
Well, at the very end of it, she talks about her selective mutism.
Yeah.
So.
It's like she's like perpetually suffering, but and it's like nobody really seems to. I want to talk about that later, like my thought on something, but
Okay.
we'll get there.
We'll get it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, everybody does seem to be like some people are sort of stumbling into insulting or outright triggering her. Like Taffy keeps saying things that are just like, God, Taffy, like have a little bit of tact.
Yeah.
But then like Janet, like I was wondering, they didn't really get into her vegetarianism, but I was wondering if that was a trauma response. Like when did she become vegetarian? Was it after she saw her mother's mutilated body? Maybe that was when she was like, I don't think I can eat meat anymore.
Right.
But I'll watch Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
But so like if that's a trauma response of like, okay, I cannot eat meat anymore, and then her stepmother is like getting extra meat, is just getting like meat with the idea of pizza under it.
Yeah.
And shoving it in her face and like, oh, you can pick it off.
Right.
Like there's no comfort for this girl.
Yeah.
And how quickly her fucking dad moved on.
Yeah.
He didn't want to deal with it. So he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I feel like Janet doesn't even try to like take the time to understand Lisa's trauma either, you know? But anyways, yeah, she's watching Day of the Dead, and that's when Cole Sprouse shows up and he bursts through the one window.
Like
and,
the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, and he basically chases her around a bit, and I love the neighbors, like the scene. So they finally get outside and they're running around in the yard, right? And the neighbors are like, "Oh, is that the that one girl? She's a nice girl, the cheerleader."
Like, the weird one.
No, that's the weird one. And I love that whole conversation. I don't know. It just always kind of remind me of It's a Wonderful Life with like the guy across the street that
Like when the zombie was attacking George Bailey.
Yes, exactly. So you know what I'm talking about. So
No, but she's even like dangling off of the roof at one point.
Yeah.
She tries to go out the window to escape him, and then he just like walks downstairs and goes outside.
Yeah,
and the neighbors are sitting in the front lawn. Like
On
they're
lawn
right there
chairs,
looking
yeah.
at her.
yeah,
Not doing anything.
yeah, it's amazing. I love stuff like that because it adds some. I think a lot of movies forget to put in like little minor characters or like fun ADR. Like just have fun.
It's
with
like
that.
like when they used to make superhero movies, like those Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Like whenever Spider-Man's doing something heroic, there's people like watching and
Yeah.
watching in awe.
Right.
And it's like making you feel things.
Exactly,
And then like
yeah.
a lot of the more recent ones, they don't have people
Yeah.
watching or to even be saved sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And it feels kind of cold. So sometimes when you have like
He's
actual
just a
like
kid.
neighbors, yeah,
Yeah.
older than my son. When you actually have like neighbors and people in the neighborhood that are not part of like say like the principal cast,
Yeah.
it just makes the world feel bigger.
Exactly.
And
Lived
also,
in.
Lived in.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that even the people watching this girl get attacked still, like, don't pay attention to her.
Right.
Like, she's just,
She's
like,
just a
perpetually suffering and nobody fucking cares.
It's
Later
like,
on, they say something about, like, oh, she was always cold.
yeah, I you know what it reminded me of is the DJ thing when we were at Port Richards. It's like, oh, they're just like artsy people.
the Titanic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it reminded me of. It's like, oh, she's just like a artsy kind of kid or something. you
Yeah,
know?
kids get attacked by zombies.
Yeah. So eventually Lisa finds the creature sitting in the house on the floor listening to Strange by Galaxy 500.
After he vomits.
Oh, after he vomits green
Yeah, like
goop on her.
Nickelodeon gack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like-
Slime time live,
Here's your
baby.
Kids' Choice Award. So
Our references are so current.
so great. So eventually, she takes him upstairs and cleans him up, and they even have like a fashion montage, which is always like one of my favorite tropes
Yeah.
of movies.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
such a puppy.
Yeah,
Yep.
Bring that back.
yeah.
The 80s
It
montage.
was such a fun little.
I
Yeah.
always love like a character trying to find their fashion.
Yeah.
You know?
Or just like the way these things are framed sometimes where like the door opens and they're wearing an outfit and they're just shaking their head no.
Yeah.
They do it like about 2-3 times, and the last one they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You found
Like she
your
loved
look.
like the pink like
When she's
I would-
talking to him before the closet sequence,
yeah.
First off, I have just a note on The Cure. I need an extended cut of them listening to the entire Disintegration album together.
Oh my god, I love that. It's
That
like
was a
it'll
really
help
great
heal
joke,
you.
too.
I mean, not like physically, but like emotionally.
Yeah.
And then, like, she is just talking to him, and she admits that she wishes she was dead. And so she feels comfortable opening up to him and talking to this,
corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she actually says this too. I don't
kind
know
of
if
the
you
way
have
she
it.
talks to his gravestone.
She's like, oh my gosh, that's the most amount of words I've ever said to a person in a long, long time. Because she like kind of just goes and she's like saying all this stuff to him as she's like trying to clean him up, and she goes, oh wow, that's like the most I've ever talked to someone in a while.
Yeah, because she tries to get him to talk to her, and he reveals that his tongue has rotted away, so
Yeah.
he cannot speak. He's mute,
Yeah.
just like she was. And so this is the first person that she can talk to them, and they're not going to interrupt her. They're not going to, reroute the conversation and change the subject. They're not going to tell her to feel a certain way or be a certain way. Like, he just has to listen to her.
It's just
Yeah.
like, and it's interesting as the movie progresses, you see him or her talking to him over and over and over again, and then she seems to get more and more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Because
yeah.
it's like she's like healing through him. I
Right.
also think it's interesting. At one point, he cries, and,
Yeah.
and it's a funny
She's
gag because she's like, "Oh, your tears
Smell
smell
terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But she's repulsed by tears. She's like kind of off put by somebody crying,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's interesting. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's probably what she was probably taught to think in general.
Right.
Expressing yourself stinks.
Yeah, like she gets over the green vomit goo fairly quickly. She's like, when it's happening, obviously she's screaming
Right.
and is like, oh my god, that's disgusting. But then after that, she just sort of is like, she's got like a big stain on the front of her pajamas,
Which is
but she's
cool.
fine with it. She sits
Yeah.
down with him, she's talking to him, she's like poking him and looking at him and stuff. But yeah, no, then he starts crying and she's like, oh my god, your tears smell
Yeah.
so bad.
Smells
Please
so
stop crying.
Horrible. and I do love how she's like, she's like, sees that he's missing his hand and his ear. She's like, it's okay. That stuff doesn't define you. There's a guy on a soap opera who has an eye patch, and it doesn't let him define him, right? And what's his name? Oh, it's Patch. His name's Patch.
I have a note.
But the way that she
sequence.
whispers, like so quiet, you almost miss it. She goes, his name is Patch.
Yeah, his name is Patch. His name is
So
Patch. Like, oh.
I have a note about
Yeah.
that moment. I'm glad you brought it up because
Yeah,
I didn't want to
no
get
problem.
past it. Days of Our Lives. When I
Yes.
was a child, I was obsessed with it. I used to watch a lot of Days of Our Lives, and I remember the character Patch dying on the show.
Spoilers, Rory.
wow.
Well, yeah, from the 1980s.
That didn't let him define him.
No, but
What was his name? Dead Patch.
it's just a dead Patch. But I remember that being so upsetting to me that I wrote a letter to the character.
Oh my god.
And then my mother wrote back to me. I thought he wrote back to me. And then in my notes I put, she's dead now.
Oh no.
Like Patch.
Yeah, just like Patch. No, but I remember that.
Follow-up question.
Did you do it?
Who killed Patch? Was it DeMiro?
I don't remember. No, I don't know if it was Stefano.
Okay.
It was
Love that
Bo.
joke. Hey, also, Days of Our Lives. We talk a lot about horror. Scariest fucking thing I saw when I was a kid was Deidre Hall possessed by Satan.
Yeah.
That was real scary shit for me when I was a kid. I wouldn't even watch the show for a little bit. I was
Wow,
like 8
really?
or 9
Yeah.
years old. But I would watch it because I was like, oh, I didn't
Love
want to
that.
watch it, but I was compelled to watch it because I'm
Yeah.
a horror guy at heart.
You're like, I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to watch John and Marlena.
Yeah, because I was into their relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much as Austin and Carrie, but I mean, still.
Who killed Patch?
I don't remember. I was really young.
Yeah.
But I wrote a letter to him.
You did it.
I probably didn't spell anything correctly because
Your fandom did it.
Yeah, it's
They're like,
I didn't
too
love
many
him
kids
enough.
love Patch. We got to kill this guy off.
He's got a #1 fan right now.
Yeah.
Let's kill him. See what it does to him. Let's hurt him.
Fucking Patch. So her parents get home, and Lisa tries to say that it was a break-in, and I love her description. Basically, like they're like, you just described the Hamburglar, and
Oh yeah, when she's like, he had a black mask on and a hat, and
like a big hat,
a striped suit.
a striped suit, and they're like, that's the Hamburglar. And then her mom, her stepmom, basically calls her out like right away, and she's like, "You're looking for attention. You did this. You're just acting out." And
Oh, and I forget if they mention it in this scene or in the one before with her, but she's using like very like insulting, abrasive language about Lisa's mental state. And at one point, I think it's in the first scene with her actually, Taffy goes, "Mom, you're a psych nurse.
you shouldn't say that.
Like you
Yeah.
cannot say that."
Yeah.
And
You can't say loony bin. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you can't say loony bin. You're a psych nurse. And she just keeps doubling down. And it's like, I feel like everybody knows a mean girl that went into nursing. There's
Yeah.
like always like one person from every high school graduating class that's like the meanest girl you've ever met. And she went into nursing and you're like, oh man, yep, that tracks. So
Yeah.
seeing Janet be the way she is and then find out that like she's specifically, works with, mental health patients
Can you imagine
in
that?
crisis. Like she's in the
Yeah.
psych ward. She's working with people who are in a crisis, and this is how she is. Just like, oh man.
Cold and callous and yeah.
They should make that movie.
Yeah.
Just like Janet working in a psych ward.
I would see it.
Isn't that just Nurse Ratchet?
Yeah, I guess.
So the next morning, Lisa goes to school.
Oh, wait. I like that outfit that Cole Sprouse is wearing. It's sort of like hipster meets Karloff.
Oh, yeah.
With the Violent Femme shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Violent
have
Femmes.
love
Yeah.
the Violent Femme shirt.
Yeah, all of his t-shirts that he wears like
Yeah.
throughout this part of the movie where he's just wearing like t-shirts with vests or cardigans over them, the Matt Mercer look, if you will.
Yeah.
I really love all of the
Yeah.
little subtleties
He looks
in
so
there.
cool.
But I love the parallels between Lisa and the creature because like we mentioned before, he doesn't speak and Lisa didn't speak for a long time after the incident. But like she hid in the closet during that scenario, and he's hiding in the closet now. She dressed him the night before when he came. Now he's telling her what to wear. So like they're having this like almost like a cultural exchange, and they're sort of on the same journey but in very different ways.
Yeah.
No,
And
that's a good
helping each
observation.
other, like in the progression of their own character arcs as they mirror each other. They're like building off of each other as well, which I thought was a really cool like symbiotic relationship for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the outfit he picks, and at first she is like, "This dress? Are you kidding me? Taffy gave me that, and I don't want to look like a." I forget what she says, but she's like, "I don't know how to wear that," and then he like throws out the hat, and she's like, "Oh, okay." It has kind of like a Molly Ringwald thing going on, and I love that she shows up to school and people are like, "What is she wearing?"
Yeah,
But
I have, the black outfit with Lips Like Sugar by
Yeah.
Bunnyman is everything.
Echo and the Bunnymen. So then, as they get to the school, we also cut to the stepmom is home alone with the creature, and she's doing some stuff, and she's listening to this audio tape about her being like a good person who's good under stress. Right?
Oh, it's like a self-help tape, but
Yeah.
I believe that's Zelda Williams' voice.
Oh, really?
is it?
Yeah, she's
that's
the
awesome.
self-help guru on
That's
the tape.
so dope. Okay.
I love
And talking specifically about being an empathetic person.
Yes. Yeah.
And
which
being
is
like, it's not your
hilarious.
fault. You just feel everything. And you're such a good person. And that's why people want to attack you and bring you down. It's just like this like narcissist's handbook.
Yeah.
And she's listening to it and it's like, yes, no, that's true. I feel that.
That's how I feel.
It's funny too, like how some of the worst, meanest people in the world, like listen to shit like that because it makes them feel like they're a good person, but they're like really passive aggressive and rather cruel.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why I listen to those all the time.
I know. I think it's weird when you actually do that was for karaoke.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Those
just
self-help things. That's very strange.
guys, you're gonna love this next song.
Here's a fat beat.
Yeah, and then there's a beat that plays, and I just
You are a strong, independent woman.
perfect. So I love that Cole Sprouse
This
is like.
version of Sunshine is really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Anyways, here's Wonderwall. So I like that at one point the creature like sits down, Cole Sprouse, and tries to play the piano with the one hand, but he can't really get it down.
His physicality is amazing, which
Yes.
Cole
Oh,
Sprouse
it's so
actually
good.
trained with like
zombie.
a movement expert and like
yeah.
a mime teacher, and so he did a lot of like mime work in preparation for the role, and you can tell that he really put a lot of thought into the physicality of the character,
Yeah.
because it's all that he has for a lot of it, because especially in the beginning he's wearing so much like special effects makeup,
Yeah.
and he is not speaking at all, so all he's able to do is shamble around, but he does it in such a specific way that you really understand what the character is thinking and trying to do. Like, you understand his motivations,
Yeah.
which I thought was wonderful.
And those actors that can convey an entire performance without words, like
Yeah.
he's awesome. Like just in general, even like when I watched Riverdale for you,
Yes.
like
Watch it for me.
I loved him. Like I think
Watch for me.
he's a great, interesting actor.
He really is. No, he's one of the best parts of Riverdale for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love that he's trying to play the piano and he can't really get it down. And at one point, Janet kind of thinks she hears it, and then she's like, "Oh no!" And maybe it's my self-help tape or whatever, right? So she puts it back on, and then there's a knock at the door about carpet cleaning.
Yeah, like a door-to-door salesman.
Yeah, and she's like, "Are you kidding? I could eat off my carpet." He's like, "Oh, all right."
I like
The
that
ADR is so good.
And
At that.
then she's just like, "What'd you say?" She like kind of like goes after him.
Yeah,
Yeah, or she's like, "What's your name?" And you can hear the guy. She doesn't take her headphones off or anything, so she's
Right.
like, "What's your name?" Clark. "What's your name?" Clark. "What is your name?" "My name is Clark."
And then meanwhile, we see the Cole Sprouse kind of like lean over to her meal and like spits out a worm.
Oh yeah, into like her oatmeal or
Fantastic.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic actor.
That was
worm.
a good worm actor.
That was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I saw the original footage that they had. The very first take, they had a different worm actor, and he fucking blew it.
Yeah.
Acted more like a raccoon than a worm.
Well, no, they
They were
actually
trying
found
to be
out.
method or some shit. It was weird.
Yeah.
They actually found out it was a caterpillar.
Oh my god, he
Yeah.
lied on his application.
Yeah, he lied on his resume, and they were like,
Oh,
"What the
man.
fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Asshole.
You have a segmented body.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here."
Get back in the earth, buddy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the gag reel for this film?
I did.
I love the one bit with the centipede. And like the entire crew is cheering on the centipede.
Oh yeah. Becca, I agree with Becca. She said that needed some nice goofy upbeat music. I'm like, I agree.
Yeah.
It's flat. The gag reel.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So at school, Taffy quotes, I love this. So at one point, Michael Trent goes up to Lisa, right? And they're talking back and forth. And he quotes Oscar Wilde to her and Taffy. And Taffy's response of, "Well, I got an Oscar for you, Oscar the Grouch." And he says, "Scram."
Yeah.
That made me laugh so hard. Like way harder than it probably
You
should
should
have.
start using that in your own life.
What? Oscar the Grouch said, "Scram."
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to just say scram all the time anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I
getting
should.
we're getting to that age where it's appropriate.
Yeah. Scram.
Scram! Get off my lawn.
You don't need to say a line. I mean, once you pull the knife, people pretty much just back off.
I like to do that thing where I have a gun tucked into my
Oh,
pants
you just
and
like
I just
lift
sort
the
of
shirt,
lift,
show
yeah,
the
I just
gun.
stretch.
Yeah.
People get the fucking picture, you know what I'm saying?
So Lisa's stepmom, Janet, gives Lisa some really harsh words when she gets home. And
I like the "damn it, Janet" thing.
oh yeah, she's like, damn it,
yeah.
Janet.
Yeah.
And I was
great
like,
little
one-liner.
one-liner.
Yeah. So I love that. And then she threatens to put Lisa away, and eventually we see where the creature pops out of the closet and kills Janet with her sewing machine. And the creature takes Janet's ear, like it cuts off the ear, and Lisa sews it on for him. After we bury her first, and so
that way she delivers that line is
it's
really
so
funny.
good, yeah. And
It's very like over the top.
it's like
Yeah.
we can't do that until we bury her first, you know. And it's so good. And then so we see where she sews the ear on, and it has like the little piercing in it, and she's like, you know what? She's like, I'm sorry you can't hear from it, like, you know, obviously. And then he kind of draws a little lightning symbol on her hand, which I love that too. I thought that was a really cool aesthetic for that character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the tanning bed out back, and because it keeps kind of like shorting out and stuff. And so he goes in the bed, and when he comes out, he could actually hear from it again, like now.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and the special effects makeup to make him look like a zombie is a little lessened. Like he looks a little more alive, a little more put together.
And every time he goes in the machine, he kind of comes out more and more alive.
Mm-hmm.
I also just love the lighting design in this movie. A lot of the use of like the pinks and purple and stuff, especially the tanning booth.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that. The lighting of that with the pink it's just a really cool
but
aesthetic.
But then
really
it cuts to
beautiful
her,
looking
and
movie.
it's very like blue, like white blue, and it gives the look of like a black and white film, because like obviously there's a lot of references to Frankenstein, and so you know here you are with the tanning bed, and he's being electrocuted to life, and I like that she doesn't say anything in that moment, like because they could have done, you know, she could have done the whole like it's alive. I hate when people use that sound bite. It's so overused.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's really
It's the
embarrassing.
lamest thing ever. I hear that and I just shut off whatever I'm listening to.
Yeah,
Like,
I totally,
those guys suck.
Totally agree.
I feel like she's
Hacks.
calling you out, man.
What? Me?
Yeah, man.
I think she's calling out Patch.
I didn't know. You leave Patch out of this. I was
kidding.
happy until that day.
But if we were going back to your analysis, where they're kind of like symbiotically feeding off each other, then like every time he goes into the tanning bed and he becomes more and more alive, the more she interacts with him, she is like becoming more and more herself, and like, you know, having more personality, talking more, you know, not being afraid to snap back at people who are being jerks to her.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're bringing each other to life.
Yeah, and the way that her face lights up very slowly, as that shot of her bathed in the light from the tanning bed, and like you can see her getting like excited, where she's like, oh my god, it's working, like it's alive. You can see this like very like the joy of girlhood, you know, this almost childlike excitement on her face of like, oh my gosh, something really cool and exciting is happening, and it's just like my secret, like I just get this thing. And that I really love that shot, and I love that moment.
Me too. I love that. And then so that we see
Hey, someone references Boner Town. Is that real?
Oh yeah, that's I think it's like New Jersey.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's a Boner Town, New Jersey?
Yeah, there's a Buttsville in New Jersey too.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Did we pass the part where she said, "Don't kirk out on me, man"?
Don't kirk out on me, man. Yeah. I love that.
The bit about Boner Town though is very funny, because it's a taffy line.
Yeah.
When Lisa comes in, you know, like in one of the outfits, and she's like, wow, half the school is headed to Boner Town and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
Right, Daddy?
Right, Daddy?
And Dale's just sitting there reading the newspaper and not paying any fucking
Boner
attention.
Town.
And he's just like, yep, they sure are, honey.
Did we pass the scene where they dropped the stepmom's body at the cemetery?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. When they're standing over it, and she says, "Is it peaceful down there?"
Oh, and he like,
shakes
no.
his head no. Like,
She looks so happy. She's like, good. And then she kicks the dirt into like
but that's also kind of sad.
I know. Mm-hmm. It's funny though.
It's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just think of Patch down there.
Yeah, man. I feel like you and I are going to talk after this episode.
Shit.
Remember that contract I had you sign that said you can't make fun of Patch?
Yeah.
You're violating the rules, man.
I'll go back to Denver.
Well,
so
you're
the next...
not going to like the new contract I'm writing up.
I actually wrote a
Denver
note
clause.
that, like, at this point in the movie, I can't tell if Taffy is a good person or not.
I think she is. Obviously,
She's got a lot of her mom in her.
Yes.
Yeah.
But because some of the stuff she says is very, very passive aggressive and borderline rather mean. Because you can say shitty things to people, but sound like you're being really nice, and you're not being nice.
She's very much like Glinda in Wicked, right? Like, I think she
Yeah,
thinks
that's a good
she's doing
comparison.
the right thing, but like it's kind of like.
Did you like
not...
that little musical number when she's like, "You're gonna be popular"?
What, to Lisa?
Yeah.
No, she said, "Regular, you're gonna be regular." No one's gonna know your name. So,
But I think what's great about Taffy is that she feels like one of those girls in high school that you're like, her heart is mostly in the right place. Yeah, she's a little bit of a bitch, but she's gonna grow out of it. Like, you
Hopefully.
know, like
Yeah.
you look at somebody and you go, you're gonna grow out of it someday.
So, like-
and you're not gonna do anything unforgivable on the way there. I don't think.
Do you think though that like maybe like her mom was like that when she was in high school?
Well, maybe her mom is an example of what Taffy could be if
right.
she doesn't grow out of it.
Sure.
I think like the intentions of Taffy are good. I think the way she goes about it
Now,
is
good
the wrong
for
way.
good for Lisa or good for her to feel good about herself.
No,
'Cause that's kind of a selfish thing.
I think it's kind of like around her mom, she's probably so used to hearing all like the being called out for like all your flaws and not in a correct good way. And so I think Taffy, I don't know why we're going into this, but yeah, I think Taffy growing up was so used to hearing such critical responses that she took it as like a positive and not a negative.
So
And she sees it as constructive feedback. So
Yeah,
when she
like
makes these
criticism,
backhanded
construct-
compliments,
yeah.
she thinks like it's
constructive criticism.
But
Yeah.
also she's not afraid to stand up to her mother and say
Right.
like, "Mom, you can't say
That's
that,"
wrong.
or
Yeah.
"Mom, that's not nice."
Yeah.
I think I disagree with what you're saying. I think you're just such a nice guy, and that's why Adrian bit you and you got rabies
You know what?
because you checked on him. I told you to let him die.
I know. I would be the first one to die in a horror movie.
You would.
100%.
You'd be dead.
I would be dead.
I'd be Shane in
Someone's
The Walking
like,
Dead.
I was bit. And I'm like, oh no, we
I'd
should
be
get
like-
you to the hospital.
You'd be like hugging the zombies. You're like, it's not gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like shooting everybody.
Yeah.
Zombie or not.
I would
keeping
die
myself
so
alive.
fast
I
in
think
a
you would,
zombie
too.
outbreak.
You're too
Yeah.
pure.
I would just die.
You gotta get a few
instantly.
murders under your belt, sir.
I'd be like, what's wrong, buddy? And then he's like,
You'd be like that guy in Return of the Living Dead 3. Let me stick my hand in your mouth. Make sure everything's still good.
yeah. Hopefully everything's good. Do the finger test.
Seems like you still got chipped teeth. Ouch.
Ouch. So the next morning, we see where Lisa's kind of like really coming into her own because she comes down for breakfast and
She's got like cool aunt energy.
yeah, and
Especially because she's drinking in the morning.
Yeah, she's just like chugging sherry, right? Was that what it
Yep.
was?
But also isn't it the night before they realized that like Janet didn't make it to her hotel?
Oh, no, they didn't realize yet.
Oh, never
so,
mind then. Rory,
yeah,
cut
so
this.
that morning, no, that morning,
No.
they're like, oh yeah, it's so different without my mom around, and even the dad is like, yeah.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
then that's when Lisa's like, you know what, I kind of miss her, and they're like, really, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like even the dad's like, whoa, he puts down the paper for a second to be like, you do? And I love that because like obviously she knows what happened to Janet, but I also think it's just like her kind of coming into her own and be like owning up to stuff. I don't know, it's kind of
I think that's more of like, hey, let's keep eyes off me.
Yeah, that
Type of,
too.
oh,
But
I loved her, I swear.
yeah,
No, but it feels very genuine because she kind
But
of says it to herself almost. She's
Yeah,
like,
she's
you know
like,
what? Like, I
kinda miss
actually
her.
do kind of miss her.
yeah.
And maybe now that she's dead, she can finally think of her as like a maternal figure in her life because she's like, I'm in a place right now where I don't know how to have a relationship with like this living woman because she's not my mom. She can't live up to my mom, and I'm still so traumatized by what happened with my mom. But
Yeah.
now that she's gone through a traumatic experience with Janet as well, she's like, oh, okay, now I'm comfortable with this relationship. Now I understand what this is.
I didn't get any sincerity out of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like I don't think that she's like oh, I really miss her. I think it's just kind of like what you do sometimes when you're trying to take any type of attention off yourself. Like, oh, if I say that I love and miss her, then like when they all put it together, I might not be on the target list. You know what I'm saying?
That's just
Okay.
because you're unfamiliar with those human emotions, Rory.
That's true. I don't really feel things anymore.
Yeah.
I've actually been digging a pin into my leg this entire episode, and I cannot muster a whimper.
Hey, one day, man. Just keep at it. You know what Patch did, right?
There it is. There's the pain.
He went for the eye. So
maybe it's just like you've Pavloved yourself. You got used to so used to crying in the basement with your bucket that like without your cry bucket, like you don't let the feelings come.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Use this analogy. Get the dog in there.
Get the dog in there.
Yeah. Because there was a dog in that experiment, and I like to hear about dogs. This movie was not very good with the animal representation, so we gotta get it in there other ways.
right. Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with that experiment. Like it doesn't ring a bell.
See,
Boom, nailed it.
you're too clever for the show.
So I like that Taffy notices. She's like, "Hey, you're wearing my one outfit," and she's like, "Oh yeah, well, you said we should share more stuff, right?" And that's when Lisa kind of notices that Taffy has like a hickey, but she's like, "What happened to your neck?" She's like, "Oh, I was crimping my hair and I burned my neck." And she's like, "But your hair doesn't even look like it's crimped at all, right?" And she's like, "Well,
That's just so
I was born with naturally great straight hair that it just didn't work."
Did your mind immediately just put it together? Because I was like, oh my god, it's from the boy.
It's
that she
yeah,
likes.
100%. And then I like that at one point she's like, "So wait, you burn your neck?" And she's like, "What are you, like the Con Air police?" I love that line. So then we see where Lisa goes to school, and
And the school mascot is a possum. I love that.
yeah, I did too.
Ooh, that's one of my emojis now.
Favorite marsupial.
Just because like possums play dead, and they when they play dead, they can like emit a smell to smell like a rotting corpse and stuff like that. And so there were just I thought that was a very nice subtle thing in the background of a lot of scenes. You see possum stuff, or like in the principal's office, there's like a stuffed possum up on the filing cabinet and things like that. I was like, that's very funny and cute. Again,
It
like
also-
one of those Diablo Cody things.
Yeah.
It also meant a lot to the possum community. This was a very big movie for them.
Yeah.
Representation.
All the possums showed up at the movie theater, and they watched it together. It was real cute. I walked in on it. I bought them popcorn.
So we see where Lisa
You
has
could
like
just go right past that. That's fine.
No, let's
That's
talk
what I'm
about
talking
it
about
more.
the possums. Come on.
More.
Let's just drag this out a little bit more.
So Lisa, we see has like this little montage of writing a note trying to ask out Michael Trent, and she puts it in the locker, and then she gets the note back saying yes. And I love how that all kind of plays out. And then after school, we see where Lisa actually meets up with Doug, who was her lab partner, the weirdo from the party. And she kind of walks him towards the cemetery, and at one point he's like, "Oh, do you want to hold my hand?" She's like, "Oh, I'll hold your hand in a little bit," right? And so they get to the cemetery, and at first he's like, "Oh, I don't want to go in there. It's not like a Christian cemetery." And I forget what else he says, but she's like, "Yeah, you're right. It's not." And I like how she walks in and like looks back, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he walks in, and that's where the creature comes out from like the ground, which looks awesome. Yeah. and they cut off his hand, and I love how Lisa like holds up the hand. She's like, ah ha ha, and she's like, I'm holding your hand now. And
I thought that sounded cool. Whatever.
I thought it sounded cool. Whatever. And then the kid gets up, tries to run away, and that's when the creature like throws the axe and it hits him and
It's like
kills
a very
him.
Sam Raimi shot.
Yes, yeah, because it follows like the spinning axe, and I love when the creature's like, ugh, like he does it like, oh yeah, got him. You know, I don't know why. I just thought that was really cool. So then we see where Lisa sews on Doug's hand onto the creature, and you know, a quick trip to the tanning bed gives the monster his hand back.
I love the meaningful look that they exchange while she's sewing the hand on.
Yeah.
And then after he gets out of the tanning bed, the little dance they do,
Yes.
it's both romantic and deranged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a little celebratory dance that they're doing. And when they go back inside the house, he shows his piano skills. And she's like, who's that? Mozart? He's like, me. You know, like gesturing that he wrote that piece. And she's like, wow, you had like a whole nother life, didn't you? And then
I love that line.
yeah, me too.
Well, I love that whole bit because one of the first things she asked him, like, the night they met was if he liked music.
Yeah.
And then when he can play, the first thing he wants to do is show her music.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not just any music, his music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think the joy that he expresses when he gets out of the tanning bed and he, you know, flexes his fingers and realizes that he has both hands back now, and he smiles, and then they dance, and they're just like overcome with this joy, and it's like this is his voice that he now has back. The way that she's finding her voice again through her interactions with him, she has now given him his most vital form of expression back.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that, and I also love that at one point she points out the sheet music that's there. And she's like, oh, it's my dad's, like, whatever, right? And then he starts to play it, and it's REO Speedwagon.
Yeah.
But she mentions that her dad hasn't played the piano since her mother died.
Yeah.
Which I thought was something that they could have explored a little bit more if they had wanted to like flesh out Dale a little bit more, but also
Yeah.
fuck that guy. So like no, but just
more
like
repression.
Yeah.
but so like clearly you know it's a beautiful piano, and so clearly music was a significant part of Dale. Like it was enough of a hobby that he had this gorgeous piano, and he had sheet music, and he played regularly enough that it, you know, was part of his personality.
Yeah.
And he just gave that up
Yeah.
when his wife died. And I thought that was an interesting detail that went unexplored. I'm not mad that it went unexplored, but I clocked it.
Yeah. No, that is I the scene that plays out where they're sitting at the piano together, doing I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore. She starts to sing it as he plays, and this is a really cool
Yeah.
scene. I don't know. I love it.
You
I
feel
love
like
like the
they're
way she sings it.
Yeah, you feel like they're bond strengthening a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
They're connecting on like an emotional level.
And yeah, because he eventually
she
he
say
starts
about-
to cry.
What does she say about like how music fixes you emotionally?
Right, the cure.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're bonding through tunes.
And as soon as he finishes playing and she's like sings the end of the song, he starts to cry because she's like, oh no, and then she like hits him in the face with the pillow. It's so funny because I think like the first one was probably planned, but the second time she did it, I don't think that was planned. I thought that was really funny. But she's like, come on, stop crying. It stinks. It smells like I forget what she said.
A hot toilet at a carnival.
Yeah, hot toilet at a carnival. And I'm like, oh man.
That's very specific.
Yeah. But that's a great scene. I love that. And then
Still, it's like something you would see in like a straight romance, not like a horror romance like this is. And this is like obviously them bonding and getting closer, but they've also murdered 2 people at this point. So it's it's strange in its version of love, but I had wrote a little note to myself here that I wrote, but I think we all want someone who sees us when no one else does, who would do anything for us and love us at our worst.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's true.
It's very true.
That's how I feel about Ella.
That's how I feel about Denver the last time.
That's how I felt about Patch.
My thoughts about Patch. So that night, Lisa and her dad, they're watching Bob Ross. And at one point, he notices her whiteout nails. He's like, is that whiteout on your nails? And she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, he's like, oh, is that like a new thing? And that's when her sister gets home and Taffy calls her mom's hotel. She's like, I'm going to call mom because I made the squad and I have like, this is a big D, right? Like big deal. And she's like, my mom never checked in. And I checked here. I called like all the different hotels in the area. And Taffy starts to rattle off all her like bad feelings and like different scenarios of like, no, you don't understand. Me and my mom were like connected, and if something happens, I could just tell. Like I always have a bad feeling, and she's like, you don't get it. Like this is the only time you're like Taffy. But she's like, you don't get it because your mom's dead and you don't have that connection anymore, right? And Lisa's like, oh yeah. You're right. Like her delivery is so good. Like she's just like, yeah. Oh, you're right. You know,
Thanks,
but
I forgot.
yeah, like thanks for reminding me. But yeah, the dad calls and reports the mom missing, and the scene is really funny because he's like describing her, and he's like, yes, I know she sounds like a bitch.
Or no, he's like hair color. Brown, I guess. And then Taffy's like, give me the phone. And then she starts describing her mother in like the most poetic terms. She's like, you know, when you see a Labrador at the park and the sun hits it just right. And so, like, she's trying to describe her hair. And eventually Dale, he's like, eyes. And Taffy eventually just takes the phone and starts describing her mother. And describes her, like, the outfit that she was planning to wear today and stuff like that. She goes, and she's wearing Elizabeth Taylor's White Diamond perfume.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a bitch.
Yeah,
and, like,
she is a bitch.
One real quick thing. When Lisa was watching TV with her father, and she said that she had to go to bed.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have to go to bed. I have a pop quiz tomorrow.
Oh my god, that's so good too.
Yeah, it's just like he's like, oh, what?
It's a pop quiz that you shouldn't know about that, right?
And she's like, she's like, pop quizzes are illegal now. A kid had a heart attack and died.
He died. Yeah. Her delivery for so many lines in this, I don't know.
She needs the right project, like something that'll blow her up a little bit, because like
she definitely deserves like something. Yeah,
this should have been the movie, but
she does a really great job of really selling it that she's like coming up with stuff on the fly.
Right.
Like,
yeah. It feels...
sometimes actors they like, you can tell they're really forcing it to be like, and anyway. But her, it really feels very genuine that she's trying to just like come up with an excuse and has no idea what she's gonna say next.
Yeah. Like she's very like she like just the way she delivers that he died, like, and holds that out. It's so good.
Yep.
But yeah, Lisa then chats to the creature about the loss of her mother and grieving and stuff, and she's like
all the creature from the Black Lagoon shit all around the
the mummy poster.
Yeah,
she
has a lot of good stuff.
But yeah, at one point she's like, you know what? I have to hook up with Michael Trent, and I'm gonna make that happen. And the monster's like, you know, like, so yeah. So the next day at school.
Wait, is this the
wait a second? You can't
massage wand thing?
You can't just skip over this scene.
I mean, yeah. There's this scene.
Hey, I almost did
skip over it.
EJ, I want you to explain what happened.
So, she at one point they're in the closet and the monster finds her like the massage thing, right?
What is it?
I don't know. What is it? A
massage
massage bar?
wand.
It's a massage wand.
Okay.
A massage wand, yeah.
Go on.
So then, so she's like, yeah, my aunt bought me that because she thought
She said it would improve my personality.
yeah.
Specifically, her Aunt Shelley got it for her.
Shelly. Oh.
Yep.
So yeah, she's like, my Aunt Shelly bought me this. She said it would improve my personality, which it was hilarious. And then at one point, the monster's using it to like massage her back, and then she's like, you can use that in other places, right? And the monster's just like, and she's like, I'll show you, right? And then we cut down to, that's when the dad's on the phone, and you just hear her screaming upstairs. It's so good.
What was happening?
I don't know. I feel like the monster was giving a really good massage.
Oh, okay. That's what I got too. I just want to make sure our notes lined up.
Yeah. I think it was just a really good massage.
Yeah, man, he's really talented. He should be a masseuse.
So the next day at school, Taffy and Lisa make their way to the school, and when they get there, they find out Doug is missing, and there's like a bunch of cops there and stuff. And Taffy is like, oh no, first it's my mom, no, this kid that I don't even know. She's like, I can't be here today. I have to leave, right? And I like at one point she's like, could you guys give Lisa a ride home?
And they're all like,
and Lisa's like, it's fine. I could just walk home. Not a big
like,
deal.
oh, okay.
Okay. And so Taffy takes off and cuts school early to go home. But meanwhile, Lisa gets called down to the office.
Well, she doesn't go home, per se.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we'll
But-
get there.
Yeah.
Spoilers, Rory.
Spoilers.
Spoiler. Lisa gets called down to the office. And who's in there except Tamra with like the cops and the principal and stuff. And she sold out Lisa for meeting up with Doug. She's like, yeah, I saw you guys leaving the school together. And then she's like, maybe you saw me with like somebody else or him with like a different girl. And they're like, well, no, we had a couple other, people that witnessed you too. One said you had big ankles.
Yeah, she's like,
what?
She's like, she's like a funny walk and thick ankles.
Yeah,
She's
thick
like,
ankles.
What?
I also love that shot, her reacting to that. The people on that side of the desk kind of like
Checking
like
it out.
lean and look at her, like trying to get a look at her ankles
Yeah.
under the desk. Like, does she have thick ankles?
And I love the cop that says, the thing about the goth phase, and which is great. So Lisa walks home, and meanwhile, the monster kind of hears over the machine, right, the answering machine, that the dad's on his way home because they spotted the car like 2 blocks away. So the monster goes to look for the stepmom's car. And this old guy's like, you guys got to get out of this neighborhood. And he just, like, hits the old guy. We don't really know if he, like, killed him or not. Because the monster starts to drive away. You just see the kid go, see you later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the kid that was getting, verbally abused by the old man.
Yeah.
Before the creature came up.
So,
Creature did him a solid.
yeah.
These next shots of him driving for the first time to, like, classical music is
Yeah.
very funny. And I really, really wanted somebody to drive up alongside him and say, excuse me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
Oh, my
If
God.
you remember that commercial, you're my age.
Yeah. Dude, I
older than
remember
you,
that
actually.
commercial.
Yeah. Do you remember those commercials?
I do.
Yeah. I
Pardon
love
me.
that commercial.
That
Do you have any
and
Grey
like
Poupon?
I don't know, it just kind of, because of how young I was when those commercials were airing, I just like, this is the pinnacle of class and sophistication.
Grey Poupon.
Grey Poupon and Viennetta ice cream.
Yeah. And the Maxwell commercials where the guy sits in front of the speaker and he just turns up the
Yeah, man, that was the shit. Yeah. Commercials used to be so cool.
So good.
Remember Crossfire?
Is that how Patches went
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Crossfire.
You get caught up in the crossfire. That was so
One
cool.
more game. Yeah.
And the kid spins away. He's like, yeah,
Yeah. So Lisa walks home and she's picked up by the creature, and she's like, driving me to Michael Trent's because I got to get it done now and get this over with, right?
Well, she also thinks that they are about to be caught.
Yeah,
Which she had
she's
mentioned in an
kinda
earlier
onto-
scene. She's like, when she was like, I'm not going to
running
die
out
a
of time.
virgin. I'm not going to go to jail forever and still have
Yeah.
my V card because we've already killed 2 people. It is a matter of time before this catches up with us.
Yeah.
So like, I am going to do it.
Yeah.
And so now that she's actually being questioned in these disappearances, she's like, all right, clock's a ticking. Let's go.
Yeah.
Need
It's
some
so
love.
good. So they get to Mike Trent's house, and Lisa finds Taffy in bed with Michael. And
Lisa looks so fucking unhinged, and for me, she looks awesome when she's
Yeah.
standing at that door, and she just looks like crazy. It's
Yeah.
a really, really great shot of her.
it's so good. I also like how she kind of talks about that guy for a hot minute. She's like, "Oh, you like it's okay for you to like cool stuff, but if a girl likes cool stuff, that's not cool." And that's very uncool, man.
He's like, "What are you
Yeah.
talking about?"
And I was like, "Yeah, no, she's right."
Yeah, because she confronts Taffy, and I loved that we had like this kind of scene in the in the middle of this movie that's this like goofy sci-fi light horror sort of thing, and then we have this scene that's in every teen soap, 2 girls going after the same guy,
Days of Our
finding
Lives.
out that
Patch.
but like every One
Sandy.
Tree Hill, Gossip Girl, whatever, like this is a very tried and true, Degrassi moment that we're having here of like, you knew that I liked him because you asked me if I liked anybody and I said him specifically, and here you are with him, and
Yeah.
like the betrayal of it. And it's just a very standard like teens, conflict that's happening in the middle of this supernatural story that we have here. And I liked that it really like, it was a little bit jarring, but I felt that it was right for the moment. And then, he's like, "Oh, Lisa, but like it never would have worked out. Like I don't think of you that way. I want someone more like Taffy,"
Yeah.
because he wants a girlfriend that he can kind of lord his edginess
Sophistication
over.
Yeah.
To be like, "Oh, you don't get it. Oh, you've never read this. You don't listen to that music." But like, I know because I'm cultured and I get to teach you about it.
Yeah.
Which is like, a shitty guy thing that guys
Right
do.
out of my own playbook.
Yeah.
No, I will. This is where I challenge you with the whole Taffy's is a good person,
Yeah.
because that's a really fucking mean thing to do to somebody. I'm just saying. She's like, "I like this guy," and it's like you could be with anybody, and you zeroed in on the one person that actually was giving me some type of happiness.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some part of her that's like, you can feel pretty okay as long as you're never better than me. And like, if you want certain things, I need you to know that I can have it too, or that like somebody prefers me to you.
Yeah.
She's like just like her mom. She's
Yeah.
a secret bitch.
Although,
perfect. She's a flawed person. It happens.
although we also don't know when this illicit romance started.
It seems to have started
The
like
night
right,
of the party, I think she
like-
said, right?
It's implied a little bit,
there's a
I
little
think, because that's the
something
first
going
time
on
that
at
we.
the locker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
But
that's
like,
probably
they
when the seeds
did. Yeah, but we don't know for sure if they were already like in a flirtationship before that point.
They might
which-
have been, because when he's talking to her and she's like trying to warn Lisa off of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
would-
definitely not cool. Like not to be
Yeah.
like, no, it's fine. Like Taffy definitely, was a bitch in that moment. And leading up to that, every time she knew what she was doing was wrong, which is why she tried so hard to keep Lisa from finding out about it, like with the crimper
Yeah.
thing and things like that. So like she definitely knew that what she was doing was wrong. But we're not given a full picture of how exactly all of that went down.
Yeah.
You could put the pieces together. It's all in the movie. It's even like when she was saying things like, She's like, oh, you can find somebody, not like a basketball player, or like a football player,
Yeah.
but somebody who has maybe like an okay person with like a skin condition.
Yeah.
She's a mean person
I
who just
think
smiles.
she's just a flawed person. Like she'll
Dude,
get
you're
there.
gonna die in the zombie apocalypse.
I think Taffy's a good egg.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna put my eggs in that basket
All right,
and
man,
say
you're good.
she's a good egg.
I respect you for standing up for
Yeah.
Taffy.
Yeah.
And what happens in the scene?
Oh, so then, as they're arguing and stuff, the creature busts in and just cuts off Michael's giblets, and he also like goes to try to like kill Taffy at one point too, and I love that like. At that point, that's when Lisa stops him. She's like, no, not her, right? Even though she's like so mad and so angry at Taffy, like she still feels like, oh, that's my sister. And probably the only person she really human that she probably cares about anymore. You know what I mean? Or maybe has left like
That
human
person
feelings for.
That person buried underneath all the trauma came up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that person that's being kind of suppressed by trauma and grief. The real Lisa popped up for a minute.
I have
Yeah.
2 notes here. One from John, who said, I love how dignified he looks taking the garbage can.
It's so good.
How he like walks out of that with like the garbage can.
The way he moves in that
so
scene
good.
is so funny.
But also, it's just great when like we see the shadow on the wall of the
thing.
dick flying across the room
Yeah.
and landing in the trash can.
Yeah.
Like,
My note for that was, who was in charge of flinging dicks around the set until they got that shot?
Like, all right, John, one more. Oh God, this is Teak 500.
Nope, get more of an arc on it.
Oh fuck.
Hey,
501.
Spiral.
This is kind of in line with the scene. Do you think this sex thing is going to take off? Like, do you think people are going to get into it?
not for you.
Well, I'm just asking. I just didn't need the insult.
Did it work for Patch?
I don't know. I was a child.
So
How's Denver?
yeah.
He's doing okay.
Denver definitely fucks. So I really enjoyed her scene with Taffy. She sits in the car and
Traumatized.
and Taffy's like traumatized, right? Mm-hmm. And they drive off and she knows that the creature is probably at the graveyard. So they drive to the graveyard and she tells Taffy, she's like, honestly, you're the only person that was ever nice to me or cared or tried. And I really appreciate that and thank you. And it ends on a really cool note where you could see when she gets out of the car, Catherine Newton, Lisa's makeup is kind of like you see that she actually cried. And that's like maybe the first time you actually see a deeper emotion. You know what I mean? That's there. And probably saying all the stuff she maybe always wanted to say to Taffy.
Yeah.
But could never come out to say it.
But now she and Taffy understand each other in a way that
Yeah.
nobody could understand Lisa before, because, you know, Lisa went through this traumatic experience of someone she cared about being murdered with an axe in front of her. And now
Yeah.
Taffy has had that exact same experience of
Yeah.
just a stranger coming in and killing someone right in front of her with an axe that she cared about. And she's catatonic and she's not speaking.
Right.
And so she's having a similar reaction possibly to how Lisa
mute.
was
Yeah.
when she was found, when her mother was murdered. And so, you know, the same way that like after she has the, you know, traumatic experience of Janet being murdered and she's like, oh, now I understand what this relationship is and I can connect with you. Now she's like, and Taffy, we have this connection now.
Yeah.
And she's finally able to tell Taffy everything that she's feeling for her, and maybe also a little bit for herself.
Yeah.
Because now we're getting to the end of the movie. Her character arc of you know, healing and self-acceptance is reaching its conclusion, and so in saying these things to Taffy, maybe she can also accept them for herself. And I love that she gives Taffy the prayer beads. That
like
she had
her
those
mother's.
rainbow prayer beads that were her mother's that she put on the gravestone before the creature was resurrected. And so that was like the initial recognition when she was like, oh my God, what are you? And he held up the prayer beads and she was like, oh my God, you're him. And now she's passing them on to Taffy,
Yeah.
who still says nothing but does take them.
Right.
And I loved that moment.
Me too.
It
Yeah.
felt like things were kind of coming full circle.
Yeah. No, I love that. That whole scene, the way it plays out, and even when she gets out of the car, because she is about to confront the monster, or the creature, and we see where Taffy like climbs out of the car and like runs off, and then at one point, like when it cuts back to her, you see like that guy driving by her, and she's just like covered in blood.
Yeah.
And you could see Taffy's just like catatonic, you know, like so out of it. But
wearing a t-shirt and I think Michael's boxer.
yeah. And I love the use of the Pixie song, Wave of Mutilation. Such a great song. And so Lisa runs up to the creature, and at one point she is going to kill it, but then she realizes like she's actually in love with him and he's in love with her. And I love that the next scene he like pulls out the dick, and then she's like, you did that for me? Oh my God, like I love you, and then the lady cop comes, and he just grabs her and throws her in the hole.
That's really funny that he doesn't kill her. He just throws her in the grave.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
And they just like run off. Like I don't have
kids.
time to handle this anymore.
When-
like let's go.
When she confesses, when they confess their feelings, and she's like, oh, we can, and he just takes this like dramatic stance and like grabs her hand and puts it on his crotch, and he's just standing there in that pose with it like so dignified while he's getting fondled, and she's like, oh.
Yeah. And then
But I like that they don't kill the police officer because they have no reason to. Like everybody
Yeah.
else that they have attacked in this film, there was a reason for it.
Well, I remember one of the most brilliant things I heard right after seeing this movie. You said perfectly that every person.
Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah. You say
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So like, I think all the body parts are really interesting. Because, like, the very first one is
The ear.
from Janet, who doesn't listen to her. Mm-hmm. And it's given to somebody who always wants to listen to her.
Nice.
The hand comes from an abuser given to somebody who will never hurt her. Mm-hmm. And then, like, the penis.
Right.
It's
you
like,
can say it.
it's like...
That dick.
What's his name? Trent?
Mike Trent.
Mike Trent. So, like, Mike kind of indirectly, but still hurts her with, like, the sexuality thing, and then they give that to somebody who only
Who's
wants
not going
to
to
make...
sleep around on her.
And just always going to just love her.
Yeah.
Right.
Wants to
And
make
also-
love to her.
Also,
Right.
that was the only part of him that she actually wanted was his dick. Like,
so she-
it turns out that she didn't have an emotional connection that she thought she did with him. He didn't care about her personality. She realized that he had a shitty personality. So, like, really all she was feeling for him was, like, I want that D. And now she gets to have it, but attached to somebody that actually cares about her, that she actually has a connection with.
She essentially indirectly built like a perfect person who knows how to love her.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the parts of people that didn't
Hurt her.
that hurt
Yeah.
her.
Or
yeah.
like were ignoring her, wasn't giving her what she needed emotionally or
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
That's
I
all I
remember you
got.
said that like after the movie came out and you went to see it within that first week, and we were talking about it. You're like, oh, I realized like this about like the mom wasn't listening, so they used the ear, and I'm like, dude, that's brilliant. That's so good.
That is a brilliant observation.
Yeah.
You were smoking pot at the time. You're like,
Yeah.
shit, man.
Shit, man. If we ever do a podcast, we gotta talk about that.
That's deep.
And then Yeah, so we see where Lisa sews on Michael's giblets to the creature, and a quick run to the tanning machine, and then that night, Lisa and the creature boing
Studio.
studio, and then we see where at one point she's like, "I have to do this," and we're not sure if she's going to turn herself in or what, but she's like, I have to do this. If I really, I have to do this. And you're like, oh, maybe she's about to turn herself in. But then we see where they go to the tanning bed.
Well, what I like here is that she says that she has to do this.
Yeah.
And then he cries.
Yeah.
And she doesn't react to it in a disgusted way. She's learned to love him for his stinky tears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are genuinely now in love with each other.
And she's like, she gets in the tanning bed and she tells him to set it to Max Brown's. And the shed that the tanning bed is in catches on fire, and we see, this like the neighborhood kids like pull up on their bikes. He's like bitching, and you see like everyone just watching as the fire is spreading from like the back of the house, from the shed. Then we cut to...
Before we move on from that,
yeah,
I just want to talk about the juxtaposition of those two scenes. That it goes immediately from her losing her V card to her assisted suicide, basically.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And the Marquis de Sade wrote that the urge towards love pushed to its limit is an urge towards death. And I'd like to think that her love for the creature is symbolic of her desire for death. Like, she was, since that traumatic event, like, she was bordering on this precipice the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, and like she said, when he first is reanimated and he comes to her and he tries to sort of like court her initially. He kisses her hand, and she goes, "Oh no! When I said I wanted to be with you, I didn't mean I wanted to be with you. I meant I wanted to be in the ground dead with you because life sucks."
Yeah.
But then it turns out that like those two feelings are not mutually exclusive for her. Like, yes, she does want to be with him, and yes, she does want to be dead.
Yeah.
And it is also just a very Mary Shelley feeling. Like Mary Shelley hung out in that graveyard where her mother was buried a lot, and according to viable legend, that is where she and Percy Shelley punched her V card, was on her mother's grave. That is a key moment in her backstory. So that like honestly, I thought when I was first watching the movie that the first time they had sex was gonna be in the graveyard because of the connection to Mary Shelley.
Right.
But the fact that she kills herself immediately after, and it's framed as this very romantic thing, I was like, that also tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, we get the fade out from the fire, and
Very classic fashion too.
yeah, like that
like
old
a
school
silent film.
like circle sweep kind of thing.
It's cool.
And she is once again simply a spectacle for people. Like, nobody's really concerned. I think one person in the crowd says, like, did everybody get out?
Yeah.
Like, but it's an afterthought, and nobody even really follows up with, like, oh,
Who
I don't
lived there?
know.
And they're
Yeah.
like Donnie Darko.
It's very Donnie Darko. I was thinking that
really
when
is.
I was watching it.
Yeah.
But it's like people, like,
Guy.
forgot that she was home. Nobody noticed if any lights were on or anything. They're all just like, oh, I wonder if everybody got out. Oh, I'm sure it's fine. And, like, the people around her do not care that she is in a dangerous situation, that she's in distress, that she might need help. That's not a concern for anybody.
Yeah.
Except for him, because he's right there with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Such a... This movie rules. So we get the transition to Taffy and Lisa's dad, Dale. And they're in the cemetery. And I thought this was going to be like a Carrie ending.
I also was thinking of Carrie. Yes.
Yeah. And they go to visit Lisa's gravestone, Lisa Swallows. And they're basically saying their goodbyes and stuff. And then we see where Taffy kind of notices that there's something on the gravestone, but we don't know what it is. We were not sure. Like, she just notices something, And the dad's like, what? She's like, oh, nothing, right? And
Someone spray painted Zeppelin rules.
yeah, I thought that like that's what it was gonna be like. Someone was like killer or something. I don't know, but Zeppelin rules. But we see that she's still wearing like the rosaries that were given to her by Lisa and stuff. And they walk off, and when it pans down, we see beloved wife engraved on the tombstone.
There's also a scorched lightning mark on the gravestone.
Yeah, which is awesome too. And
this scene, the scene with the two of them, is just like the final nail in the coffin for me with Dale, because Taffy is clearly like very emotional in this scene.
Yeah, she's like the new traumatized.
Yeah, but she's also like deeply affected by like, oh, this is my sister. And I'm standing at her grave, and I'm still processing these emotions. And so, she seems to be, like, emoting appropriately for the situation. Whereas Dale is like, yeah, we're here, we're doing, like, I'm checking things off the list. Like, yep, you're supposed to go visit the grave, you're supposed to put flowers there. And so he just sort of, like, waves at the grave, and he goes, hi, Lisa, and puts the flowers down. And he's just like, yep, whatever. So we did that, and they have another bouquet, and he goes, all right, let's go visit Mom, and then we're gonna go to Fuddruckers. Yeah, so fun. And it's like,
it's okay, he'll have another wife in 6 months.
Yeah, and
maybe
he
Taffy.
And
maybe the waitress at Fuddruckers.
And just like the relationship with Janet,
Fuddrucker.
he's bringing another traumatized teenager with him,
right?
Who he will probably ignore the way that he ignored Lisa in favor of a shiny new perky daughter that he can
just like that
have a casual
on Stranger
relationship.
Things too.
Yeah.
Mike Wheeler's dad.
Yeah.
He's a fucking asshole.
It's a real Dale fail.
It's a real Dale thing. Yeah.
Dale fail is what we'll call that.
Yeah.
Move
Yeah.
on.
So fuck that guy.
Yeah. So then we cut over to the local park where we see the creature who is now reading out loud in perfect diction, right? It's not like the park.
Should have been.
I wish it was. But he's reading, and as we pan around to the front of the bench, it's revealed that Lisa is kind of back to life, all bandaged up, laying in his lap.
Very
like, listening.
Julia. Hellbound Hellraiser 2.
Julia. And we see he's reading a poem. Do you guys know who that is?
He's reading a letter that Percy B. Shelley wrote to Mary Shelley. Because after he died, because Percy B. Shelley, he died young, he drowned, and Mary Shelley never got over it, and she kept his heart in a drawer in her desk, her writing desk, for so long that it like petrified.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So one of the things that she did in the aftermath of his death, as she was just trying to find any kind of meaning, was she gathered up all of the poems that he had been working on, because he was a poet. So she gathered up all of the poems that he had been currently working on, and all of the letters that he had written to her, because they were all very poetic, his love letters to her. And so she gathered up all of his poems, all of his letters, basically any like scrap of writing that she could get her hands on that was, his words, and she had them published as a book of poetry. Oh. So like his final book of poetry was posthumous, from what she gathered up. And so that letter is from that book.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's okay. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the heart in a heart-shaped box?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Hey.
Hey, Wayne, what's your deal? Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was a
Wayne's
special
World? Yeah.
about Wayne's World 2. And they were like doing an episode of Wayne's World, and they played that music video. And they're like, is he saying, hey, Wayne? Listen, if you have a problem, you can come down to the studio. We'll talk it out.
We'll talk it out. Yeah. Hey, Wayne, what's this guy's deal? No, this movie was incredible. I freaking love this movie. Definitely, I would recommend it. Yeah.
Where'd he get the tongue?
Oh, that's a good question. My theory is Tamara. I don't know. Who do you think? You know, the mean girl that that's just my guess. I don't know. Who do you think it would be?
Part of me thinks it might be Lisa's. It was the only body he had a chance to get before everything burned down. So maybe he could have gotten like one last use out of the machine.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Probably a deleted scene. You sent away for it.
Yeah. I'm curious. No, but yeah, no, I love that movie. I would definitely recommend it. I think it's going to be a cult film for sure. Within like the next 10 years, I could see a lot of people really taking to this. I mean, we went to Monster Mania and we saw maybe like 4 or 5 people cosplaying as this character. And
I remember we told them their costumes were stupid.
Yeah, we're like, who's that? Madonna?
You look awful.
You look like a stupid fucking Madonna.
Hey, how about this costume? Where you try?
Yeah.
And they like looked at us like we're all upset, and we just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Anyway, you like the movies?
I loved it. I think this is gonna definitely have like a cult status to it. I would definitely recommend it to people. I think it's hilarious. I think the comedy in this movie, I think you can, the more you watch it, the more like those lines are super quotable and awesome. How about you guys? What did you think?
What'd you think, Elle?
I loved it. It was fun. I love the music. I love the visuals. I loved the moments between the two of them where they're being romantic and cute and adorable. And even when he's driving her to Michael's house to like knowing that she plans on losing her V card to him, he's still begrudgingly doing it, and you could see all the range of emotions on his face. I love how expressive Cole is, and there's a million things I love about this movie. I feel like this is one of those ones you could watch over and over again and get more out of it.
Sure. When you say V card, are you talking about like a Visa card?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Like one of those gift cards that you got at Target.
You know, the ones you used to buy hookers.
Oh, those ones.
And she lost it? Why didn't she just call it and call
Never
up
tell
and
you about my
report it?
untraceable
prepaid.
cards?
Oh,
So,
okay.
you know, you don't really need it after you pay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I can confirm that every time you watch it, you get a little more out of it because I have watched this movie so many times.
Really?
Yes. Well,
How many times have you seen it now? Do you think?
This was probably at least my 10th or 11th time seeing
Wow, really?
it. Yes.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Well, because I saw it in theaters. Elle and I saw it together. I think with Robin, right?
Yes.
It was a Shequels outing.
Yeah.
So, and we actually had talked about doing this as a Shequels episode briefly at one point, I think. Like, it was one of the ones that was thrown out there. Yeah, so I saw it in theaters, and it blew my mind. And then as soon as it was available on streaming, I was like, oh my God, I can watch it again. And I watched it and picked up so many new things. And so my mind was blown all over again. And so then it became something that was like, whenever I was like sitting down to fold a load of laundry or something, I was like, oh, I'll turn something on. Or, you know, a random, you know, quiet night in. I'm like, oh, let me watch something. Oh, I could watch Lisa Frankenstein again, because the experience of watching it again and getting so many new details and picking up on so many new things was so exciting to me that I was like, I gotta see what else is there. Like, it's a well that I keep going back to, and it's so enjoyable. And the detail, not just in the script or in the acting choices, but like also the design of everything is just so well thought out and very clearly lovingly done by everybody in the production.
Yeah.
So it is just a delight to watch again and again and again.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I feel like every single person, department head in charge of this movie just brought it, like with like costuming, set design, lighting design, cinematography, directing, writing, acting. There isn't like a bad performance in this. It's not like, this guy kind of sucks, but everybody else is great. Everybody in this movie is like really good and plays the part, I think, perfectly. And even though Carla Gugino isn't in this a lot, she kills it. Like, she's so good in that small role of Janet. But that's just everybody, though. Everybody in this movie, even Taffy, is like, a great character, and she kills it. But yeah, I definitely agree. Everybody in this movie brought it for sure.
And I'm glad that originally they were going for an R rating because they kind of assumed there was like no way that we can do this movie and not get an R rating. And then it wasn't until they were like planning reshoots and stuff that they realized that not only like would a huge part of the audience that they were hoping to capture not be able to see it, but also there was like a sort of whimsical almost innocence that they kind of wanted to bring back into it. So they were like, what do we have to do to bring it down to a PG-13 rating? So there were a couple of scenes that they reshot. So like originally at the party at the beginning, it was not spiked drinks. They were doing drugs.
Oh, okay.
And so they went back and they changed that. And initially there was a lot more like gore, like a lot more blood and stuff that they digitally took out. So like the scenes after Michael's death, Taffy is supposed to be covered in blood, and they had to digitally take a lot of it off of her. So they did stuff like that. And after the vibrator scene, when she's drinking milk for some reason, that was originally they were supposed to be smoking weed.
Oh, okay.
And so they reshot that, and we're like, what would they be doing? And for some reason somebody was like, they're drinking milk.
I love that. I think that's funnier.
Because again, it like brought this like whimsical like teenage innocence into it, because like you're still kind of a kid, and Lisa having been like ripped out of childhood so violently by the thing with her mother, I love those moments where it shows her being still kind of childlike. I think that was a good choice that they went back and they brought the rating down a little bit.
There was a scene in the gag reel where they're drinking the milk in bed, and Cole starts laughing and he's like choking on the milk, and she's like, "Why are you laughing? My mom's dead."
Like Patch.
Yeah, I got
Sorry. No, your thoughts, buddy. Your final thoughts.
I didn't like it.
I will fight you right now.
We'll move on.
Okay. Let's go into...
Hey, Rory, shut the fuck up.
Right. Shut the fuck up.
No, I would just repeat a lot of the same sentiment. I mean, you guys kind of nailed it. It's as far as a script goes, you can't really ask for something better for this material. It's like, it's very quirky. It's very fun. And the movie, from the directorial standpoint, it's got wonderful, like, there's like a constant flow to everything. And it's never boring. There's like a wonderful pacing. Yeah. And even the editing is awesome. Remember before I was making fun of the Jurassic Park trailer?
Yeah.
And how it sucks? The trailer for this movie, I remember being like awesome. Like, it's a really, really well edited trailer. And I'm like, man, I really, really hope that this transfers, and it does. It's just awesome. But I love the way it's lit, and we talked a little bit about that neon goth thing was what we'll call it. We didn't come up with a good enough name. And like all the performers, man, like they're just like kind of what you said. There's not like a bad actor in there anywhere. They all seem to understand the material, and they just all kind of collectively elevate it.
Yes.
You know? And again, just for like a first-time project, you know, like Zelda Williams just right out of the park with that one.
I
love like whenever directors like come out strong like that. You know?
I can't wait to see what she does next. I know this wasn't financially what it was probably expected to be.
They had to cancel Ricky Frankenstein.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks because sometimes people could hold that against a director, and you know what I mean. Like, but that's how it goes. Sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, man.
But I feel like the right people will back her in her next project.
It's unfortunate because
I can't wait to see it.
they'll probably push her into something stupid. Because like, I mean, this is like a conversation that's been going on for a while about what it is that people go to the movies to see. That movie I was talking about before, the movie from Brazil, I'm Still Here.
Yeah.
Walked into the theater, there was one person in there.
Yeah.
Right? But like a Deadpool and Wolverine movie, it's like you're going to sell out every single show. So a film like this, it's like, who's this for?
Right.
It was a little bit of like a thing where it's like, is this like a horror film? Is this like Twilight? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you look at the trailer and you're like, what is this? And then you actually watch it and you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who dislikes it because it's like really impressive.
Yeah.
And something I could probably recommend to most people. But films like this, like they just don't sing the way they used to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people used to take really big chances when they go to the box office. They'd be like, I don't know what this is. I'll go see Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Right? And then it just becomes like I don't know why I picked Mean Girls. But it becomes like this big movie.
Yeah.
But something like this, I really just feel like people just didn't know what to take from it. Just when you saw the trailer. Even though to me, as soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, you know, like there's like that one part, there's like this like a part where, remember when she's like bashing her head off the steering wheel?
Yeah.
It's like dun dun dun, dun the trailer, and it's just like, oh, it's so good. But no, I really mean this. I love this movie, and if anybody managed to make it into our like 3-hour podcast, like if you finish this, watch it, and you know, be ahead of the curve on this one, because it is gonna at some point find its audience, and you could be on the ground floor.
Ground floor.
Ground floor.
Ding dong. Guess who's there?
Denver?
Denver, the last dinosaur.
And he killed Patch.
All right, let's go into our emojis for this movie.
Let's hear those burn ass emojis.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. What was that?
I don't know. That was really weird.
I don't know if I liked it. I think I did.
I know, it was kind of weird. Did you guys hear
Arousing?
that?
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. You seem really startled.
I'm alarmed.
Yeah, I could tell. You feel and look shocked right now. Oh, calm down.
Well,
It's okay.
That explosion of sound, or whatever the fuck that was, we should probably just move past that and just write it off as an isolated incident. But anyway, emojis.
Yeah.
What did you get?
I put an axe and an eggplant emoji.
Nice.
That was really good.
Thank you. Boom. Nailed it.
Want mine?
Yes.
I got worms. A centipede. A possum. I got a Frankenstein monster, because there's an emoji for one.
Yeah.
And there's an axe.
Mm-hmm.
And a blood drop.
Oh.
How about you, Al?
I got a tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
I have an ear.
Mm-hmm.
And a hand.
Uh-huh.
And an eggplant.
Okay.
And a black heart for all the wonderful goth music in this.
Yeah.
It all checks out.
And how about you, Maggie?
I have the vomiting emoji.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
The zombie.
Zombie. Okay.
Piano keys.
Excellent.
Lightning bolts. The axe. The sewing needle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A worm. And fire.
Nice.
Nice.
Very
Yeah.
comprehensive. I like
I
that.
like
Yes.
that. That was pretty dope. All right, well, now let's go into plugs.
It's time for a plug.
What the fuck was that?
Like, seriously, what the fuck was that?
Why do I
Yeah.
keep hearing this shit?
Is Three Jacks haunted?
Well, it is haunted.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of... Ever since the pot pie business.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Gravediggers.
It's got a body count.
There's a lot of...
Popeyes has a body count.
Anyway, that was...
All right, well, let's get into plugs. Maggie, do you want to go first?
Sure. The Diva Theater does a lot of cool stuff. You can follow them on Facebook to see what events they have coming up.
Is that Diva with a D?
Yes.
Okay.
And I know that they have their Page to Stage coming up, which is where they have local writers come and talk about their work and share a little bit of it. That's coming up on February 22nd at 8 p.m. I think this might be airing after that, though. But they do it every couple months. Check the Facebook page for updates on that. There's also the Dunmore High School Drama Club is doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I worked with them on their last play in the fall. They're a great group of kids. They're really talented and really funny. And that is going to be the last 2 weekends in March. Show starts at 7 p.m., 2 p.m. Sunday matinee. And lastly, my husband is in a group called the Lyric Consort, chamber choir that does some really lovely work. And you can follow them on Facebook for updates or go to lyricconsort.org to find information. Their next concert that they're doing is going to be on Saturday, May 10th at 7:30 p.m. Down at St. Luke's Episcopal Church of Scranton.
Very cool. Very cool.
Is that org with an O?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And not to be confused, Carl Mills always says the Diva Cup Theater. That is not correct. It's just Diva Theater.
Thanks, Carl.
Yeah. That was for Carl. All right. Elle, what would you like to plug?
I would like to plug the Eastern Tribute Collective.
Yeah.
That is all of the bands starring...
Metal Messiah, Jon Snow.
Yeah, the guy who lives in my bed. And if you want to find out where their shows are at or what bands they're currently working on, you can go to the website. You can check them out on Facebook under easterntributecollective.com or on their Facebook page, Eastern Tribute Collective. Also, hey all you weird loners. Tired of hanging out in the cemetery? Well, come on down to Three Jacks Burger Bar. The burger of the month, the lunchbox, is to die for. And the Casamigos cocktails are electrifying.
Ooh.
So steal your stepsister's car and drive your undead loved one down to Three Jacks Burger Bar in Dunmore. Three Jacks, basics done better.
Boom. Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Vince
Also-
is going to die. He loves that.
He does.
Yeah.
Gravy Diggers, not associated with Sweeney Todd's or Mrs. Lovett's Bake Shop.
We don't need that extra shit going on. We don't need that affiliation. All right. And anything else, Elle? Any new projects you're working on?
No.
Acting stuff or no?
No.
No? Okay.
Yo, leave her alone.
All right. I was just curious. I don't know. All right, Rory.
I'd like to plug Ravenview Productions.
Yeah.
It's a film production company with something kind of fun coming up on the horizon very shortly. We'll talk about it more. I'm not going to get into it right now because I just don't feel like it. But it's also the production company that brings you this podcast each and every week.
This podcast.
If it's Wednesday, it's Frequels. Fourth Cut Reviews.
Zzz.
Keyboard warrior Chris Conforti just making stuff, making things. You can look them up wherever you look up people making stuff.
Also, on Facebook, Film Phantoms, his new Facebook group.
Yes.
There's
Yeah, check that out too.
Check out Film Phantoms,
Film Phantoms.
spelled with a P and sometimes with an F.
Sometimes with
the
F
wild,
and
wild west out there.
Sometimes with the PH.
We got Variant Season, rock band, kicking it, doing all sorts of awesome stuff with instruments. You can sing them on wherever you listen to musics, on the YouTubes and such. Gravy diggers, pot pies. Most of the stuff that we use to make them has all been collected as evidence currently, but we will be back up and running shortly. Schwartz Dreamboat, you can find this fella on all your socials. He's hilarious. His comedy can cure things, not sickness, emotionally.
Not rabies.
Not rabies. We brought in Chris to help out
tried.
EJ at one point. Just didn't work out so hot.
Yeah. Next time, baby.
Real Chronicles, Mr. Dave Gonzalez has a podcast. And they talk about movies, and they do it in a way that doesn't make them sound like morons like we do on our show.
Excuse you.
Sorry, I was talking about
Excuse
myself. You can check out his reviews on RottenTomatoes.com, and you can also look him up on the Cinematic Reel and such. Most importantly, everyone out there, we're going to talk a little bit about my favorite thing on the goddamn planet, Kitties of NEPA Pet Rescue.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow. No.
That was a cat with the shotgun.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good movie title. Cat with a Shotgun. Yeah. Your death.
Meow, you pissed me off.
Your death will be perfect.
Ooh.
See that?
See, that's good.
But anyway, I was leaving my apartment today, and I realized it's fucking freezing outside because that's what PA's like. You know, we get like 1 week of summer, and the rest of it's just cold. We're all unhappy. We don't get any vitamin D from the sun. It's a nightmare. But all those
It's like
cats.
Forks, Michigan up in here.
Yeah, it
Is
sucks.
that where it is? Forks?
Hey.
What?
Don't
I'm
talk
talking about Twilight. Oh,
Don't
sorry.
talk about Twilight during my cat's plug.
Okay.
All right?
It's Forks, Washington.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to
Sorry.
start my plug over.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella. Sorry, go ahead.
Should we just start the whole episode over?
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Kitties of NEPA, it's super Kitties of NEPA Pet Rescue. It's super cold outside, and that means that there's lots of animals outside that don't have homes. You have a home, and you can fill that home with all sorts of furry companions. I did this with my cat Ella, and she's like a little cat model at this point. She's awesome. She's a BFF, and she likes to sleep with me at night. And
When she's not sleeping on the banana.
when she's not sleeping on her banana, and I'm not shy about sending that photo or posting it places. So if all you people out there would like to see a picture of baby Elle sleeping on her banana, so let us know. Let us know.
Rate and review. If we get enough reviews, we'll post the pillow picture.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, you're not gonna be able to handle it. But but I mean, seriously, there's a lot of cats out there that need homes, food, blankets, your time, your love. So look them up. And that's all I have. Wrap the show up. What do you got?
You know what I got?
I want to go home.
Adam Farley's music. Check it out wherever you listen to music. Krista Lou's music. Songs from the Hallway. Check it out. It's amazing. Also, check out Respawn Tattoo.
Respawn Tattoo.
A lot of people get their ink done by Gentle J.
He did mine.
He did yours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 3
of my 4 tattoos.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No way. Did he do your rogue tattoo?
Yep.
Shut up. Okay. I
He
didn't
gave
even
me
know
one
that.
against my will.
Oh, nice. Gentle J.
Gentle J.
Why does he have a shotgun? Why does everyone have a shotgun?
He's the
all right.
cat's sidekick.
Yeah. Check out Respawn Tattoo. Get some work done. It's on Chestnut Avenue. Is that right?
Yes, it's on Chestnut.
He's a great guy. If you haven't listened to the Twilight Zone movie episode,
You are doing yourself a disservice.
yeah, because he rocks.
That's a funny ass episode.
And also check out frequelspodcast.com where you could check out our pictures and our episodes,
Nudes.
and our merch, and our fan fiction of Denver the Last Dinosaur. You just have to dig a little bit,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you click on the right picture, it'll take
It's
you
underneath
into
the OnlyFans link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for
Only
only
fins.
pheromones.
Only pheromones.
Only fins, yeah.
Only fins.
We got a few.
But yeah,
There's also a link to Kitties of NEPA Pet Rescue if you're too stupid to find it yourself on Facebook.
that's true.
Yeah, if you're fucking clueless, you can just go on there.
This website you were talking about, EJ, it sounds really nicely done. Who did your website?
Oh, that would be Mr. Mike Vinci
Da
from
Vinci.
the Shanty Hill Design.
You might know them from the Planet of Awesome.
They are. Vince hooked it up and made our website pretty awesome. And
Gave
if
it
you
all
need
these
work,
computer viruses. It was awesome.
yeah,
I lost all my credit cards.
all my information just like is out there now.
All your V cards.
Yeah.
My V card.
All my V card.
Mike Vinci took my V card.
He took my V card, my D card, my V card, my D card, and what else? Yeah, he just took everything.
Yeah,
And
Your
my
A
American
card.
Express.
but he does a
The
good
A
job.
card, yeah.
But he took a card off me.
Yeah.
But no, Mike Vinci. No, seriously, if you have a project and you need a website,
Look him up.
hook him up, man. Book this guy. He
Book him.
kills it. Yeah, check out frequelspodcast.com. And I think that's all I have to plug.
You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yes.
And you should like or follow or
You
do
could
something.
send us messages. Did we ever? When's the last time you checked our emails?
It'll be the next episode. That'll be the next one.
Because someone was like, I sent you guys an email a while ago. I was like, oh, you did? I will check it one of these
Yeah,
days.
we don't believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
when
anyway.
EJ was out, he was like, "Oh, you know what? Since I'm sick, you should probably like do like a whole episode where you just answer fan emails." You're like, "Oh, let me see if Elle's available."
Let me see if Elle's available. But no, I want to say special thank you to Elle Snow and Meggie Roche for coming on and just killing it. I love how deep you get into these movies and your outlook, and you guys rock. I love you guys so much. Thank you, Shequels.
Oh, thank you. We love you, EJ.
You guys are the best.
And Rory's also here.
Yeah.
I don't give you guys credit for anything.
But you guys are so insightful on everything, for real. And you guys make us sound smarter than we really are.
For as
So-
good as they are, they don't make us sound smart.
No, yeah, they
really
actually make us
They don't
sound
help us at all.
dumber.
How about that scene where the guy got his dick cut off?
Ah, yeah.
Remember he lost his Johnson?
It's big old Johnson.
Anyway.
Anyways, thank you to our guests. You guys rule, and we appreciate it. Thanks to Rory for being like the best person in the world. I love you, buddy.
My criminal record does not line up with that sentiment.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we're working on it.
Thanks, man.
And then, thank you guys to everyone at home who listens. We love and appreciate you guys. You are the best. And with that being said, thank you for listening to.
Fuck you, Dale.
Kill for me. That's Denver. Kill for me, kids. Kill for me. Fucking Dale.
Fuck Dale.
Yeah. We should have just
And by
replaced him
that we
with
mean
Denver.
nobody fucked Dale.
Yeah, nobody fucked that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Not for at least 6 months.